Howdy. We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being here to close out the 77th session. There will be lots of well wishes and reflection tonight, but I just want to thank you all for being here and for your hard work this session. It really has not been noticed. I am so proud of all of you. And so with that, for the last time, we will now move into a period of opening roll call led by Pro Tem Patel.
All right, guys, you know the drill. SVP Coppinger. Chief Justice Leffingwell. Speaker Blackburn.
Howdy.
Chairman Armstrong.
Howdy.
Chairman Shue. Howdy. Chairman Morrison. Howdy. Chairman Gaddis.
Howdy.
Chairman Bass. Howdy. Chairman Cornell.
Howdy.
Chairman Jusino.
Howdy.
Chairman Wilhite.
Howdy.
DDO Herbert.
Howdy.
Senator Fisher. Howdy. Senator Fallon.
Howdy.
Senator James. Senator Williams. Howdy. Senator Garcia.
Howdy.
Senator Oberoi.
Howdy.
Senator Pham. Senator Vernon. Senator Wilson. Senator Kelsey. Senator Sanders.
Howdy.
Senator Hunt. Senator Gilliard.
Howdy.
Senator Maynard.
Howdy.
Senator Moore. Senator Bradley.
Howdy.
Senator Cho. Senator Dow. Senator Kim.
Howdy.
Senator Shining. Howdy. Senator Tucker.
Howdy.
Senator Applewhite. Howdy. Senator Carr. Senator Matthews.
Howdy.
Senator Noche. Senator Van Hoosier. Senator Vu. Senator Collinsworth.
Howdy.
Senator Long. Howdy. Senator Hughes.
Howdy.
Senator Coates. Senator Jojo Owen. Senator Crickclaw. Senator Willis.
Howdy.
Senator Attaway.
Howdy.
Senator Banta. Senator Duncan. Senator Flores. Senator Kowalski. Senator Hoffman.
Howdy.
Senator Hurt.
Howdy.
Senator Monk. Senator Norton. Senator Oliphant. Senator N.K. Owens. Senator Pesic.
Howdy.
Senator Steele. Senator Smith. Senator Teets.
Howdy.
Senator Vargas. Senator Horton. Senator Rasco. Bishade Gilbert. Bishade Preston. Bishade Reynoso. Bishade Troy.
Howdy.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we will now move into the invocation and pledges of allegiance led by Chair Bass.
Okay.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
All right. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to meet together one last time in the second section. Thanksgiving to the Senate. Pray that you would just bless tonight, that you would make it a time of reflection, but also a time of just sharing great memories and commemorating all the hard work that this fantastic group of leaders have done this year. Help us to glorify you in all that we say, do, and think. And I pray that your hand and your watchful will be over 78 as they lead the Senate and work better with our student body. We love you. Bless tonight. It's your name we pray. Amen. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Thanks, Chair Bass. Now move into the mission statement and acting honor code read by our law officer, Chair Armstrong.
Hi, Senate. Hey. Chair Armstrong, the Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and communities through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institution. And Aggie does not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate those who do. Thank you.
with that, we'll now move into a period of open forum. Pro Tem Patel, do we have anyone for open forum?
I have Chairman Armstrong, as longest serving senator.
Well, 2 minutes beginning and hobby.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Howdy, Senate.
So, for those of you that don't remember from the beginning, or maybe weren't here because you vacancy your way in, the longest serving senator is a ceremonial position that we have by tradition in the Senate. You just saw what it does. Only job, only purpose is to read the mission statement and honor code at the beginning of every meeting. And the longest serving senator has passed down. It is this year, Vince Kane. And I got it from Ms. Angelina Balthazar this time last year, and we'll be passing it to the man, myth, the legend, Mr. Pro Tem Patel. It passes year after year from one longest serving senator to the next. And there's a couple different symbolisms that people talk about. The most obvious is you're old. You've been here a long time, so you have a team. My preferred symbolism, and I think is funnier, is about a story from way back to the founding of the country. There was a senator who beat another senator to death in his office with a cane. And so, the kind of unspoken symbolism is, you've been around, seen a thing or two. And so if there's anyone that might have to beat somebody to death with a cane, it might be the longest serving senator. So with that, there's the cane. Before I keep talking, Eli, I give this to you so that you can do the mission statement and honor code for this meeting. Wield it well a little bit. Yeah, so I'm gonna use the rest of my time just think a couple thoughts, a couple ramblings of a great year or whatever. I have been around for 4 sessions, my 4th. I was officiating in the 74th session, and then vacancy into on campus, and then was off campus, and 75th, off campus, and off campus again. Then off campus caucus leader, LR chair, Reg chair, throughout my time. And I've made several mistakes, quite a few. Too many to count, but there's been a few big ones that have taught me some significant lessons that I would be remiss if I didn't pass to those of you who are continuing the next session.
You got a committee report coming.
And I would love to tell you more in my committee report. Thank you. Yeah.
Longest serving senator now stands up for a period of question and answer. If I see any questions, I saw Pro Tem Patel.
Pro Tem Patel, would you want to take this time to talk a little more about whatever story bits of advice you have?
I would love to do that. Thank you, Pro Tem Patel. So the first story that I was going to tell briefly had to do with the cabinet confirmations for the 75th session. So this time, but for 75th, and we were confirming Ms. Mamie Hurdle to be chief of staff under Case Harris. And now, I, as a still wet behind the ears, very green senator, super enthusiastic. And so when I heard from a friend that maybe we didn't want to confirm Ms. Hurdle, I was like, all right, let's stop the confirmation. Let's do it. Because I trusted my friend, and he was super enthusiastic about it. And so we did. We stopped with it. It was kind of my first major action in the Senate was to come down here and say, we don't need to do this. And I'm not going to tell you why outside of executive session, but we're going to do it. And it happened. And it was terrible. Like, really, really bad. And I had to learn over the next couple of weeks, how do you walk back into the state that much? You get like 15 different phone calls from the outgoing student vice president, the incoming student vice president, and like 3 different cabinet members all saying, what the hell are you doing? And so, young senator had to figure out how to walk that back. Come down and say, hey guys, I screwed up, that was wrong. I have bad information. Let's reverse that decision. And it did. We moved on. Relationships were preserved, and the world kept turning. And so I say all that to those of you who are continuing. You're not married to the mistakes that you make. Please have the humility to walk them back and make them. Moving along to like the most momentous thing that's ever happened in student government was when we impeached Mr. Hunting Krause out of the student vice president's office. That was ridiculous and really hard, and probably the right decision. Maybe, I don't know. But I hope I'm conveying how convoluted and
Please back up and wants to consider us.
the whole thing was, and with a parenthetical statement on the end of my sentence, I'll continue Back to your report. Thank you.
Senator Purcell, do we have anyone else for open forum?
We do not.
All right, with that, we will now move into the approval of the 4/09/2025 meeting minutes. We'll attempt to do this via general consent. Do I see any objections to the approval of these meeting minutes? Seeing none, these meeting minutes are approved. With that, I will now cede the chairship to Pro Tem Patel for a special presentation of our 77th session Senate awards.
All right, that Peter Tom will do his presentation.
Senate. Most fun parts of my job, I got to decide who our award winners are for this year. Honestly, it was a very difficult decision. It was something that I wrestled with for quite some time, running through different options, making lists, making phone calls to some peers I really respect of just what they thought, and kind of got everyone's feedback, talked to the advisors, kind of just made and then made my final decision. So I decided to share those with you. So first, I'm going to present Committee of the Year. I wrote down notes on each one. I want to say there's two things I didn't want to forget what that's just on par for me. So Committee of the Year. This chair and I sat down at the beginning of their term to decide what their year would look like and just kind of lay out what the trajectory of this committee would be. This committee kind of didn't really have a direction prior to this year, and we really wanted to turn around. The chair really wanted to turn it around and just produce good, strong work. This chair and the committee worked diligently to create strong opportunities for their ownership and got their committee increasingly involved. I had the honor sitting in almost every single committee had the honor of sitting in almost every chair's committee meetings at some point in time. I just got to watch what they did, how they lead. I'm so proud of all of them. But I saw this chair, they had consistent attendance, and the Senate body consistently saw the output of this committee. I believe that this chair and the committee redefined the purpose and use of the committee and how we will see the impact of this and the fruits of this for a lot of the years to come. With that, I am so proud to announce that the Committee of the Year, the 77th session, is next. All the award winners after diversity and inclusion committee of dollars in the picture and as we wrap up tonight with Cheryl Brian. Genuinely so proud of the work that they've done and just continually impressed by Cheryl Hyde's leadership and just as we did this year to brag on him a little bit, which I'm sure Cheryl Hyde will talk about more in her executive report. We sat down at the beginning of the year and said, I would love for every piece of what I call community building legislation to come from your committee. And Cheryl Hyde said, absolutely. The next day, she sent me a Google Calendar with every single major Texas A&M event, every FGA event, every major organization event, and then I would watch in her committee meetings as she pull out that Google Calendar and look at her committee and say, this, and this is happening this week. Who's writing this piece of legislation? She never took them on herself. She tried to give ownership and saw that a lot of people wrote their first piece of legislation because of that. And I'm so proud of that. And just that's what this is about. Creating opportunities for ownership. It was just a shining example of that. That's why we got Committee of the Year. The next one that I'm going to announce is Senator of the Year. I'm really excited about this one. This senator is their first session, and they have gone just truly above and beyond. In so many ways, this body just truly does not even know about. Firstly, to speak on the character of the senator, this person exemplifies the core values of our institution, specifically respect, excellence, and integrity, and also selfless service each and every day. This person does not shy away from hard work and dedication, and simply just does not do anything that way. As I've gotten to know the senator throughout this past year, I've learned they are their own worst critic. The senator would come to me that this year they would not be doing enough, or they need to be better on their stewardship. And then when we walked through everything the senator was currently working on, I would realize just how deep their work had gone and that they were doing far more than I could have ever imagined. This chair truly took the year and became a subject matter expert. I'm so proud of them and their growth that I have personally witnessed over the last year. With that, I'm so proud to give Senator of the Year to Chair Kimball Gaddis. A little bit. She would call me after city council meetings and I don't think I'm doing enough, or I didn't. I've been talking to the meeting. I'm like, well, you just represent the body so well. You asked the right questions, conveyed the voice, you did everything right. And she kind of like, well, what about this project or this project? And she had everything going at once and do it. So I'm so proud of her. And then the last award is State of the Year. I'm gonna go ahead and announce it, and there's a slight caveat, and you'll see that. This was truthfully the most difficult one for me to decide. And like I mentioned, I sought some outside counsel before I made my final decisions. Statesman of the Year is meant to go to someone who has dedicated themselves to the legislative process and the work that it entails. It is someone who goes above and beyond the conversations in and outside of 144. Statesman is someone who makes their opinion known, but is also open to having their mind changed and values the opinions of others from all sides of the table. I believe that this person has embodied all of this and more over the last year and is truly deserving of this award. With that, I am really proud to announce that Statesman of Senator Riley Birdswell. We can stop here. So I will give them that award at a later date, but I want to go ahead and announce that. And everything back in the bodies. And again, there's only 3 awards to give. I wish I could give each of you individually an award. But unfortunately, I can't do that, or else I'd be here all night. But with that, I am genuinely so proud of you, and this will come out throughout the rest of the time. But I'm very proud of all of you and hard work, and you are all deserving. Perfect. These are just I made. So thanks. With that, we will now move into. Oh, I see the chairship back to Pro Tem Patel. I forgot something. Making up rules. The last one, actually, is that I have a special shout out and recognition for our wonderful advising team. I know many people probably only know them as people that sit at the front and don't really know them, but I can confidently say that I would not have survived this year without them. The entire advising team is always ready to work hand, answer any questions, share a laugh, offer wisdom and advice. Harley, we are so thankful for you on progress, and I know I would not have been nearly as successful this year without your support. On behalf of Internal Affairs and the Senate body, we present you with your own Senate plaque.
I see the chair back to. I see the chair.
Yeah.
Back to Speaker Blackburn.
All right. With that, we will now officially move into our final committee reports, starting with our Speaker Pro Tem Patel. And to kind of lay this out, as Pro Tem Patel takes the floor, each chair will come down and give their final report on just achievements of the year reflection. They will give their pass down to their successor if their successor has been named. And if their successor has not been named, they will still talk about their pass down and the significance of it, and they will be given another date. With that, Pro Tem Patel, you have the floor.
Howdy, Senate.
Pro Tem Patel. Really didn't plan a lot of words out. But now I'm looking back at where we're a year from now, and just thinking about the year, it's been a very challenging year. It's been a very growing year, and when I look back, I am so proud of all that's been accomplished. It's truly been a joy, and it's truly been a pride and honor to be a part of this body, be a part of this role. When I look at the work of everybody in this room, I'm so proud of what we did, how amazing of a productive session we had. And truly, it's been one of the honors of my career in SGA and college to be a part of the Internal Affairs Committee and see and help the work of all these awesome chairs. So when I think about the best parts of my junior year of college, you guys, the chair, and everybody in this room, it's been an awesome year. So here are our pass downs. The pass downs is a lot like a roller pretend in which there's just like a lot of crap, and inside a lot of crap, there's even more crap. Where do I start? Let's start with the scary red doll. As far as I know, this just showed up one day on somebody's desk, baby haunted. I think at some point it's supposed to move on its own. It doesn't anymore. And it used to have a right eyeball, and it doesn't anymore. To be honest, I'm terrified of it, and I had it on top of the shelf the entire year. Every time I walked through Coldest, I swear it turned and looked at me. The golden toilet, that's right here. So as the saying goes, the golden toilet is the responsibility of the pro temp because we get crap done. It's also in the pro temp because the pro temp has to deal with all the crap from Senate. And so it's really just a constant reminder of the joys of this job. And here's the big one here, the pro temp shelf. As the legend has it, this dates back to when the Senate offices was in the Harrington Education Center. So somewhere in those premises, full of years and years worth of stuff, led by pro temps in the past. There's a rubber duck because we keep Senate afloat. Some other tools. There's a big list of all these things, and I'm forgetting them all now. But here's my additionals. I added this pen. There's a bunch of pens in here. I added my placard from when I was Senate Fichet. I added this little can of Advil, which
That's what's on my
no, this is my personal. This is my personal staff. Because looking ahead to next year, my successor is right here, Senator Mark Tucker. You're gonna need some of that. His final words of encouragement. Pro temp is a role where you do a lot. There's really a small select few people in the world who have done this job, and an even smaller collection of people who have really got any degree of thanks for everything. So something I've learned from it is compliment your friends. Tell your friends what you mean to them. If you see that they're doing something, see they're going through something, talk to them about it. Let them know how much you see them and how much you appreciate them. That goes through in-Senate people you know, in different organizations, and also just as a person. I think in this year and also my life, I think it's the most important lessons I've learned. If you're in the Kevin's State session, it's gonna be great. Martha, you're gonna be awesome. Have the time of your life. Is there a question and answer after this?
Yes.
I stand open for questions. Thank you.
I thought for a lot of times, Pro Temp Portalis open for a creative question and answer. They're speaking of questions. Senator Ken.
Senator Kim, College of Engineering. I couldn't help but notice I saw what looks like bug spray in there. Can you tell us what that means?
Yes, let me pull up. Let's see if it's on this list. I'm gonna scratch it. It's not on the list. Okay, let me think of something real quick. So this is off woods, sportsman, ticks, mosquitoes, and bite flies. I'm trying to think of like a nice one to do because there's a lot of. I think it's because you, the pro temp keeps all the problems off. Oh, probably. That's what I got. That's what it's you. Thank you.
Chair Armstrong.
Hey guys, Speaker Chair Armstrong was right. Pro Temp Patel, what has been the most memorable
in your time in program? The most memorable moment. Well, now I'm here. I feel like you're trying to maybe remember something I'm not remembering it. I think the most memorable moment. You know, it was in my time as a pro temp, but it's not a Senate meeting as a pro temp. We actually did a roll call vote, and would you believe it or not, I've been in like 6 or 7. It was the first one that I did not administer. I think I did 2 or so as officiator. I helped do it, and I did do it in this session. Roll call votes suck. I don't think any of y'all have ever had to do one, but that was fun being able to be a part of one and not have to say everybody's name and keep track. Thank you.
Any further questions for Pro Tem Patel? Senator Willis?
Senator Willis on campus caucus, permission to preface.
Yes.
During the first meeting of the 78th session, I joked with Senator Edmondson sitting next to me that I wanted to make a point of personal privilege and say that every senator should get an aspirin. So I wanted to ask you, how many times have you popped an Advil during the meeting? If you were to ask me.
I would say, realistically, around like 3 out of every 5 meetings, maybe 60 to 75% of meetings, and there have been, but it's like the 15th, 16th meeting. So going by the math numbers off the top of my head, this one's talking about 70% of 15 is. Okay, around 12.5-ish.
That is very major.
Of the 15. That's it. But you know what? Now that you mention it, I think that we should have a part of our allocation to be like a open Advil source. For any senator to be able to go and grab something. I think that's essential to survive and success. Very good, Senator.
Thank you.
All right. Any further questions for the Pro Temp? Seeing none, we thank him for his service. To rules and regulations.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Howdy, Senate. Okay. So the rules and regs pass down is loose here of the backpack. I don't know. I mean, I asked the good advisor, Ms. Carliola, who is a former rules and regs chair herself, asked who brought it to us, and she said maybe Evan Berger, maybe in 71st session. So we're gonna go with that. Chair Berger gave us a lovely backpack, but what's inside the backpack is a couple of things. I can find it. Here it is. So the most significant thing in here is a nice copy of Robert's Rules of Order, 12th edition, newly revised. And it's signed by all the chairs starting the 66th session with John McClain, all the way to me. I signed it this afternoon. So, Cole, you will get this in a second. I'll give it to you. But eventually, sometime around this time next year, you'll sign it and pass it to the next one. However, I was really excited to tell you all about this because I think SJ history is cool and like 66 session, it's 11, 12 years ago. But then also, Ms. Carliola, our lovely advisor, informed me today, like during IA, that most of these are in fact forgeries. Shock horror, right? Mr. Evan Berger, who gave us this lovely backpack, apparently lost the original book and forged everyone's signatures before it. So, anyways, well, I was disappointed. I was heartbroken. So, anyways, don't lose it, all right? And we can keep this thing going. Anything else in here? There's a couple like random pieces of paper that have like Robert's Rules cheat sheets on them, and then all of the placards of the last like 5 or 6 chairs are in here. So eventually you'll put yours in here. I just put mine in there. But last thing I'll say, I'm going to divert and not pick up where I left off because that wasn't going anywhere. What I will read is the last little bit from the transition letter that I wrote for incoming Chair Horton, because I think it succinctly articulates my thoughts about the role of rules and regs.
Rules and Regs is the custodian of the machinery that supports the gargantuan organization that is Texas A&M student government. And it's our job to find some section of that system that we can improve in the year that we're chair, and spend the rest of our time boiling the joints. Do that, and you'll look back this time next year and know that you, quote, stood where duty required you to stand, as President Bush so aptly put it. Do the job well. Try to find an area of the code that you can improve and improve it. Try not to do the whole thing at once. You just won't. But try to find your little smidgen that you can improve and make it better than you found it. And then try to keep the thing moving, you know? It's an interesting job being rules and regs because you're the chief interpreter of the code. And the only thing that trumps the rules and regs interpretation is big words. And so by and large, the thing keeps moving because the rules and regs share gives out, you know, hey, this is how this works, this is how it doesn't work. So it's a lot of weight, but it's a super rewarding job. I think you'll do a great job. So I'm proud to be passing the baton to Mr. Portland. But with that, I would love to answer any questions that you have.
All right, with that, Chair Armstrong is open for a period of question and answer. I see Pro Tem Patel.
Pro Tem Patel, if you had to guesstimate in all of your years as part of Senate, how many bottles of purely sweet tea you drank?
Good question. So President Patel is referencing what? Oh, more than that, probably. But Mr. President Patel is referencing is this lovely bottle of purely sweet tea that came from the vending machine just out there in front of the suite. And I have drank at usually just one bottle of purely sweet tea in every single Senate meeting that I've been a part of. At least through my sophomore year, maybe my freshman year as a fish aide. That's where it gets fishy. So we did some math earlier. But that's where, yeah. So the math there, I don't really know. I'm not a real engineer. But a lot.
Any further questions for Chair Armstrong? Senator Applewhite.
What's your favorite pork? Good question. I have two. And I'm gonna use an answer too, but I'm gonna because this is my favorite pork thing. But my favorite is loyalty. I think loyalty is simultaneously one of the hardest to exemplify, but one of the most rewarding to exemplify. I think if you're not loyal to those who support you, you don't have anything at all. And so I think we can all measure ourselves against that measure of loyalty. This year, however, I've come to value respect. I think this room is one that challenges you to hold yourself with respect. It's not always easy to hold yourself with respect in this room. And respect it when I see it first. So, respect and loyalty.
Any further questions? Our first chair.
Howdy, Senate. Chair Student Services. So I don't have a successor yet, but I want to come down here and just talk about what student services has meant to me this past year, especially with having to fill some big shoes, as Ava was actually predecessor. Thank you. And she had done a lot with the position and honestly took it places that I don't think have ever been seen before, which I really commend you. And honestly, it's one of the more, it's not a competition between which committee is like the hardest one, but it is definitely one of the more ambiguous ones because there's just so much that you have to deal with, from dining services to transportation to housing, even disability services and health resources as well. There's just so much that it covers. But in that, because it covers so much, it makes you be that much more of a better representative for your constituents and for all the student body. And honestly, that's probably why Ava's excelled so much at being the speaker, because she had that experience within the Student Services Committee to go and represent all students, not just a certain sector, not just in one thing, but in all things. And honestly, she really inspired me to do student services. And part of the reason that this is the pass down, this little school bus, is because the transportation is like one of the biggest things we do, especially for the transportation committee. And I think the only other person I've seen in this room be in that committee with me was Adelaide or Senator Edgington. She's not here right now, but that one's like super tedious. It is it is definitely tedious, but nonetheless, it's a lot of fun to be there and meet different people, to meet different faculty and other graduate students that are there also to represent students. And honestly, this has been a huge blessing for me, for my leadership development as well, because I've been able to balance all of this while being, you know, a leader in the Corps, but also being a family man, being a husband, and being a father, which is the biggest blessing that I honestly have had this year. And if it weren't for all of y'all, especially Internal Affairs Committee and my cadets over here too, I wouldn't have been able to just be the student service chairman that I had. And especially if it weren't for having Ava there to support me and all that. So yeah, hopefully my replacement, wherever that may be, can fill the shoes and continue to do it. So, yeah.
Right. With that, Chair 2 is open for questions. I see any questions. I saw Senator Osweiler.
That are at the school. Are you aware that there are two other people in this group on transportation?
Now that you mentioned it, yeah, I do. But which I didn't know you were my like grandfather, right? Or whatever you were. I don't know what you want to call it. I can barely use it on the bus. But yeah, you were.
Chair Armstrong.
Chairman Sherman's race. Chairman Chief, could you explain the significance of school bus here?
Okay, so honestly, I don't know other than the fact that it does this. I just learned about it today. So hey, it's indestructible. No, it's indestructible, seriously, but it's like it represents the Aggie spirit. I mean, we use the Aggie spirit to get all around campus. And you know, if it weren't for the Aggie spirit, then we would have to walk all the way from the Rex and Blockers, so or from like from the what's it called? Rita Rita. From lot 100 all the way to Blockers.
Try to push.
Yeah, what?
Try to push.
Oh, Bush go to Blockers, yeah, that's too. So that's pretty much what the bus means. Yeah.
Any further questions for Chair 2? Senator Kim.
Senator Kim, College of Engineers. Chair Chu, sir, what is your favorite core value and application for student success? How does public service leadership in the core?
That's good. So again, like Chair Armstrong, I'm gonna get two. But my favorite core value, A&M core value or Aggie core value is definitely selfless service. All, especially like through this year and through the things that I've been through in my personal life, it reminds me all that much more why I'm in this position and why I go and serve students, and not just the student body, but also the board. And being a sergeant major, being in charge of a little bit over 800 people it's a really hard job, but nonetheless, it's self-service that drives me and all that. And my favorite core value, which is one that I really adhere to the most, is discipline, because discipline is what we need in our lives every day to keep us rooted to what we are here to do. And honestly, that's to serve Christ and emulate Him and serve others as well. And one of my favorite verses that I've taken throughout this semester, specifically this semester, has been Galatians 1:10, which says a little bit, but it says, "For if I so please men, I would not be a bondservant of Christ." And St. Paul is basically saying, I'm not here to serve men. I'm not here to serve, mankind, but I am here in the way that pleases you, but in the way that pleases Christ. And if I can't put those core values of selfless service and a discipline to be able to serve my Christ and to be able to serve students, then I'm failing. Yeah, that's the question.
Any further questions for her too? Seeing none, we thank you for your time. Finance Chair.
Thanks, Ed. Person, finance, and bunch of stuff down here. All of it, and so you'll bear with me a second. So, real fast, I first want to talk about the Student Senate Finance Chairman's House now. It isn't something that's like funny or a joke, but it is something that's really sweet. It's really cool. It's a scholarly vote record that's been signed by a whole bunch of previous finance chairs. Which is cool. I can sign my name today. I do that legacy, as well as this dollar bill because the finance chair obviously finances. The Student Senate Finance Chairman's committee report is kind of a passing. I don't know if you've noticed it, but it always says the same thing. The Student Senate Finance Committee continues to work to ensure that all student affairs fee monies are spent in a responsible manner. And that's our job. It's our job is to take the money and make sure that it's being stewarded well. And that's a concept I really want to zero in on as I talk about like, what I've learned from this role. But the concept of stewardship. So what is stewardship? Stewardship recognizes the fact that what we have is not our own. It's ours to oversee, to manage, and to steward well. Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for man. And as finance chairman and all of you as leaders do a lot of really incredible things. We serve students so well. We lead, we work on initiatives to be better than student body. But the question that I would ask you then is why? Why do we do that? What is the motivation? What is the purpose behind it? I'm going to read this long thing now, so you're also going to keep out the variance. It's the parable of the talents. For it is just like a man going on a journey, called from the servant, and entrusted them with his possession. The one gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1 talent, each to his own ability. And he went on his journey. The servant who received the 5 talents went at once and put them to work. He gained 5 more. Likewise, the one with the 2 talents gained 2 more. The servant who received the 1 talent went on, dug a hole in the ground, hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of the servants returned to settle accounts. The servant who received the 5 talents came and presented 5 more to master. He said, you entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I have gained 5 more. The master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. The servant who received the 2 talents also came and said, master, you entrusted me with 2 talents. See, I gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. Faithful with a few things, I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. Finally, the servant who had received the 1 talent came and said, master, I knew you were a hard man, reaping what you have not sown, and gathering what you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid, and I went out and hid your talent on the ground. See, you have what belongs to you. Your wicked and lazy servant, replied the master. You knew that I reaped where I had not sown, and gathered what I had not seed. Therefore, you should have deposited my money with the bankers. On my return, I would have received it back with interest. Therefore, take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10 talents. For everyone who has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. For the one who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. And throw that worthless servant out of darkness, where will be weeping. So, growing up as a kid, that was a parable that really scared me. Because what it told me at the time was like, just doing what I'm supposed to do is not enough. He didn't lose the 1 talent. He the master gave it to him and he kept it. So, he did the bare minimum. But that wasn't. I think this is from the Matthew Henry commentary, and I think it's really apt. But it talks about that lawful servant. He hid the Lord's money. Had it been his own, he might have done as he pleased. But whatever abilities and advantages we have, they are not our own. But we are stewards of. We must give account to our Lord whose good they are. There was an aggravation of his slothfulness, and his fellow servants were busy and successful in trading. And their zeal should grow. Are others active, and shall we be active? Leadership and service are good things. It is a good thing to serve this body. It's a good thing to serve on campus, to serve your students, and better the same. But if we're not doing it for the right reasons, for the right motivations, we do it every day. And so my encouragement to do is steward the gifts that you have, make use of the time that is available, and use it well to serve others, serve the Lord, not for man, but yeah.
Okay, with that, the finance chair stands open for questions. So I see any questions for the finance chair? Chair Armstrong.
First of all, rights. Next for last time. Has the finance committee also prepared
Yes, it has.
Any further questions for Chair Morrison? Seeing none, for this time. We'll move to our community relations chair.
Howdy, Senate. Okay. I'm usually not up here very much. So, my name is Campbell. I've been serving as the relations chair, and this is such a privilege serving this position. I truly enjoyed every single moment, and it's been a roller coaster. I'll give you a rundown. It's been such a blessing, and I'm just feeling very grateful for this position because it wasn't something I initially expected. I knew I wanted to get involved in SJ, but we've kind of scouted me out and encouraged me to do something that was different, that was hard, that was challenging. And so that's kind of where I found myself is I was looking to see, okay, where somewhere I can challenge myself, where somewhere I can truly make a difference that is a little bit unfamiliar, and that's where I found Student Senate. And I think immersing myself into something unfamiliar has given me the experience. It has taught me so much more than any other experience truly can. For me as a whole, I might not know this, but I hate conflict. And so this position definitely taught me a lot and just learning how to interact with people and navigate and like stay strong in your values, but while also like maintaining and being yourself. Overall, getting the chance to represent the students and university for this position has been such an amazing experience, and will not only carry has allowed me to learn so much from this position, but also will carry with me into the rest of whatever I end up doing. But ultimately, like, none of this would be able to be possible without it was like faith in me and confidence in me, because while this position is different and challenging in its own ways, it's very relational, which is awesome for me because I love talking to people. But you're not going to make everyone happy. I think that was the hardest thing for me to learn this position. So having the confidence or having everyone else build me up and instill that confidence in me allowed me to serve better. So what I would say to y'all is lean on your peers, because ultimately, like, those are your peers or your family in college, and allowing yourself to have that community is very important and very vital. And also lean on the Lord. There's so much grace and reassurance in being able to have a relationship with the Lord that truly cannot get anywhere else. So being able to lead confidently is ultimately like done through Him. So everything I've been able to do is through Him. Being able to exemplify and represent everyone is like also representing Him. So overall, this role has like had such a like meaningful influence on me and also the university, and I'm excited to see what the next session holds. Okay, then I'm gonna try to pass out some. Had the day for a while. We got and it got some stuff in there. Don't worry. We got a koozie. Some oh yeah, these are awesome. Okay, these are all contact information of everyone, which is huge. Because you're gonna have to keep those contacts up. A notebook, folder full of very helpful stuff. And then I think one of the things that's the most special to me is this little journal that all of the past community relationships have been able to like write something special, maybe a Bible verse or just some wisdom in their contact. So, thank you all so much for trusting me in this position. I really enjoyed it and learned so much, and I'm excited to see what future holds. I'm ready for questions.
All right, Chair Gaddis is open for any creative question and answer. Do I see any questions for Chair Gaddis? Chair Morrison.
What was the coolest experience?
I think one of the coolest experiences has been, I'll say two, because one's like they're very different. One of them was being able to do the Northgate walkthrough with a few of the placements that navigate our state, which is really cool to realize how much of all that they're doing, but also how like unsafe it is. So that was very interesting to learn, just because you have all these ideas like unsafe people, okay? So that was kind of fun. But the other thing was being able to speak up in front of city council during the award of work, because that was something very challenging, and I like had to like grow up really quick and just gain some confidence with that, because being able to like not only am I representing student university, but I'm also like representing myself and being knowledgeable and presenting myself in front of these people. So those two things were definitely like the most good and bad, like being challenging.
Okay, any further questions for Chair Gaddis? Sure.
Term from proposal regs, what's next?
Oh gosh, I'm doing a lot of school, which is so awesome. And then going to be serving as a member educator for my sorority, so I'm excited for all of the new girls. And then the most like influential thing that's coming ahead is I'm going to be studying abroad. So I'll be in Italy spring semester, June, January, through May, and I'll be gone, and I'm so excited. It'll be great.
All right, any further questions for Chair Gaddis? Seeing none, we thank her for her time. With that, we move to legislative relations. Yes.
Or, yeah, Chair Chu, real quick, I read mention. Riley, thanks for the help on the career project. That was a really great testing with them. And then special shout out to Lauren Hudson, always being at my community. That was it.
All right, Chair Buss.
Well, howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
I'm gonna start with a little bit of a story. Too soon. Talk to me after you're done. It actually started with Corbin Armstrong. I was a fish aide. Had the dear privilege of being the student assistant for the former student vice president, Andrew Applewhite. But I was sitting here thinking, what the heck am I going to do for my sophomore year? Love student government, love top staff, but really didn't have enough experience under my belt to take on a big role. And Corbett's like, yo, dude, you should run for Senate and you should go for LR chair. And I was like, well, one night at the chicken, he invited me to play Doms, and I play Doms. But we show up, and from the moment I met him, I just recognized his true passion for the role and for Senate as a whole. I'm not a legislative guy. I'm not very versed in the writing of it. Like, I just had no idea what else to do. But I jumped in, ran for senator with College of Arts and Sciences, and ended up having the privilege and honor of serving as here. The one thing I wanted to talk about was humility. And that's something that IA has done a fantastic job of showcasing. You know, the story that I had the privilege of being part of MSC Adams here, it's Family Leadership Conference here on campus. And yes, but I got to meet the parents of a guy named Taylor Gillespie. Taylor Gillespie was a cadet in Company P2. He was the CEO in 2011, his senior year, and dying in a car crash. And I met his parents at the conference and got to speak with them. And something his dad said, which struck me, and I'll never forget. It was Taylor never had to be the number one guy. He always was just grateful to be a part of it. And he always let his character speak for itself. That is something that IA and the Senate has taught me. Just be grateful to be a part of it. You don't have to be the number one guy. You don't have to be the star. Like, just be grateful for the opportunity to serve in the ways that you get, because not everyone gets that opportunity. And I just want to thank each and every one of you sitting in front of me, Corbett and Ava. Y'all have been, and Eli, sorry. Y'all have been absolutely incredible this year. Whether it was me going to Corbett on a phone call late at night asking about some random LR question, or, you know, Ava humbling me, saying something I probably should have said, keeping me in line. I have really enjoyed my time here. And I think that's why what these classes
be a great thing to do for other people. Let gratitude be the cornerstone of everything. Because when you recognize that, you recognize the value of the position you're in, it allows you to be more motivated to do your job well, but it also allows you to experience what is for you in this moment. Joys, inner flows. So I'm going to talk a little about these pass downs. 2 books by one of my favorite politicians of all time, George W. Bush. One is written by his chief of staff, Gene Becker, the man I knew. Kind of talking about George's life post-presidency with Life Barbara. And then Decision Points, it's probably his most famous book on different decisions he had to make throughout his time as president. Obviously, the Bush School of Government and Service is named after the Bush family. And I got a chance to read both of these. Fantastic books. So whoever gets them as they are censored. But once again, I just wanted to thank y'all. For taking a chance on me. But I'm really grateful. And I think that's kind of what I'm sitting. Gratitude and humility is what's in the coffee. And I hope that for the Rising 78 session, let's come in with an open mind, being challenged, but really important to it. It's really easy to slap off. But people here really do care and care enough. You're going to gain some really sweet friendships and sweet memories. So with that, I'm open for questions.
With that, Chair Bass open for questions. I saw Senator Horton.
Sir, we're President Office. Chair Bass, you could only impersonate one person.
Would it be?
Remember that
It is recorded. Yeah.
Madam Speaker,
Thank you. Any other questions for Chair Bass?
Find me after.
Chair Willis.
Senator Willis on campus caucus. I feel like I've gotten, well, for Mr. Preface,
Very briefly, yeah.
I feel like I've gotten to know you too short a time. I came here on vacancy. However, I always, or almost always, have seen you enjoying some nutrition during these meetings. So I have to ask, over the whole session, what is the best meal or snack that you eat during a meeting?
The go-to is the 8 count. Chick-fil-A fries and Mountain Dew. That's a Wednesday night deal. But I'm sticking with my sour herb gummy bears, man. Those things are gas. Like I can down a bag of them. And then also pizza combos. You've ever had combos? Yep.
All right. Any further questions for Chair Bass? Seeing none, we thank him for his time.
All right, howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
I have been contemplating how I've wanted to start this for a little bit of time now. So I think I'm going to start with my class down. And you might be looking at this thing. I'll see. This is the second one that's what it's for today. What in the world is the story behind this? Well, our protest a few years back bought a little golden toilet for the same reason that Eli explained earlier. And the academic affairs chair that year was jealous. They were like, that's a really gorgeous little toilet. I want my own. So instead of going out and buying a new one, they stole it from the pro temp. Pro temp was kind of mad about that, so he bought another one, which is the one you see before me, because he secretly switched it with the one that the academic affairs chair stole from him. So I have the second golden toilet, and this thing has been sitting on my desk since I actually brought it with me to my internship this past summer. So that was sitting on the shelf amongst conversation starters for quite a few coworkers, and then it has just been sitting on my work desk, staring me in the face every single day. It's just a good reminder of what Senate kind of means to me. And in fact, I added one of our little Senate stickers to the bottom. So that's my pass out. I'm really excited for the next year to receive it, whoever it is, and to just get to stare at it all day, every day. So that is what yeah. And then leading into the past year, it is a little bit of a trend. Both Campbell and Trey both mentioned that they were almost scouted for the position. They're not the only ones. About a little more than a year ago, I got a text from our very own Chair Morrison being like, hey, I got your number from Kathleen, and I was wondering how you feel about maybe running for Senate/academic affairs chair. And I was scared out of my mind. I didn't know anything about what that would look like. I didn't know anything about the Senate. I was on Kathleen's committee over on exec. So I immediately picked up the phone and called her. And I asked, what is this text? Why am I receiving it? And she basically was talking to Luke, and he asked her who he thinks would be for this position. And she told me that I was the first name that popped into her head. And she was like, take your time, think about it, but I really think you're perfect for it. I think you're going to be so dedicated, and you have a lot of good work that this university needs. And so here I am, a year later, having taken the position, gone through the whole process of running for Senate. That was scary, brand new experience, and I ran for chair, and now I have gotten so many blessings. I have grown so much as a person. I've grown in my faith. I've grown as a leader. And we've done so much good work in my committee, which I'm so incredibly proud of each and every one of them. The ones sitting here today and the ones who unfortunately are not in attendance. I probably would not have stayed safe if it wasn't for some of them. And they know exactly what I'm talking about. This stuff has been very stressful, but so rewarding at the same time. One of my goals whenever I came into my position was, it's not just about me. I don't want to be the person leading every single project. In fact, I was told, don't do it because you're not going to be able to survive under all that work. And so I decided that I'm going to delegate every project to at least a member of my committee, because the biggest piece of advice that I had gotten leading into this year was expect most of your projects to fail. They're not going to work, so don't expect every single one to. And I was like, okay, I'd rather grow from these mistakes than have a whole bunch of successes that don't actually mean anything. And that's what I wanted my committee to also go through. I wanted them to give them the opportunity to be a leader in a way that they weren't before, and that if they failed if the project failed, that they learn through it with me. And leading this year, I think that even if all these things didn't work out, there was a few projects and ideas that I know my committee got to learn, that my committee got the opportunity to grow as leaders, and that they had their failures and I failed with them. They had their successes and I succeeded with them. But I would not be here today without that team. And so thank you, Senate as a whole, but really thank you to my committee and to IA for being so supportive, and to the people standing behind me, especially Ava, who she was there kind of like every step of the way. And unfortunately she wasn't able to come to a committee meeting this year, but she knows how much hard work that me and my team have been doing this past year. So
All right, with that, Chair Cornell stands open for questions. Do I see any questions for Chair Cornell? Senator Roscoe.
Senator, I have a question about this. So you talked a bit about advice. What is one piece of advice that you
okay. Well, other than expect everything to, not everything. Things are going to succeed, I promise you that. Other than expecting things to fail, don't be afraid to turn to people who know more, because you're not going to know everything. You're really not, but there is somebody who's going to be more knowledgeable on a topic than you are, and figure out who that is related to your topic and go pursue it by letting other people support you.
All right, any further questions? Senator Ken.
Senator Tim, engineering. As a member of your committee, I recall very much discussion from the academic operations committee, something that we always start off on in the most respectful way to that committee. What is the most out there idea or suggestion in your opinion?
Okay. Not all of Senate knows a lot of what we talk about when we talk about those discussions. But I distinctly remember a very heated discussion of our committee in relation to should student athletes no longer be required to take a TSI or to have a course equivalency on it. And we all kind of agree, why is this even a topic? Absolutely, they should be. In fact, one of our committee members is on the team that works with student athletes, and she was like, that is a stupid idea. That should not be a thing. But probably not.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Senator Hoffman.
Senator Hoffman on campus, what's your favorite icebreaker? Okay, my favorite icebreaker is every single meeting, and I think my favorite one was whenever I made them make paper airplanes about looking up instructions. They didn't know what was happening. I gave them the paper, said you're not allowed to look at your phone for the next 5 minutes, and you're going to read the airplane. I think it was a really fun one, and I did in fact make the worst flying paper airplane by with the shortest distance.
All right. Seeing none, thank her for her time. Almost done, y'all. Senate. Hey, I'm in shorts because we're here all night. There's a lot more for me. But I was back at my journal from when I first started thinking about CHR and kind of similar to everyone else's story about campus. I even sent it right at the beginning of this year in the fall, and that started with a phone call and a visit to the Data House from Sharon Morrison and a conversation that turned into running for Senate. And it's been the best decision I've made in college for sure. Anyways, I was looking back at my journal and I saw some really cool things. So I was reading through it, and the thing I can see from the most from Senate is the relationships and the friendships that I've been able to build here. I've never felt more supported than when I reached out to people and asked for letters of recommendation for CHR. In my opinion, I was new, I was wide-eyed, I wanted to do something to help serve Senate, but I didn't know if people would support me. And I was met with overwhelming support from some of my really good friends, but then also from the I admired and never thought would even know my name. So that was something really sweet that I saw when I stepped into CHR. And since CHR, I took that role in January. So it's kind of been a transitory role of how can I serve both the 77th and 78th session in my role. A lot of my impacts won't hopefully be seen in the fall, but some of my projects were small and just helping out other people on IA. One of my favorite things was helping out Chair Cornell with the academic advisor letters, because I got to know my committee. I got to sit with Senator Flores for a really long time at a chair and just hear stories from our constituents and learn more about what makes an academic advisor special, but then more importantly, what makes XAMN special. And I think that that's something I got to hear a lot about. I see it there. Even in my short time, I got to see a lot of stories about different sides of campus and what makes XAMN the best place to go to school. But overall, I'm going to keep it short. Overall, just the way that I have seen people rally around me, and as I stepped onto the IA team, I was embraced with open arms, had probably 15 million questions, but got them all answered by some awesome people, some awesome leaders on this campus, and people I admire a lot. I don't have a class now, and I'm deciding if I want to make one. So, if you have any ideas, let me know. But that's all I have on this year. All right. Any questions for Chair Cornell? Chair Bass. Not Chair Cornell. Chair Jacina. Chair Bass.
Chair Bass, OR. What's that?
No, I'll be here. I'll be right here. Well, actually, I'll be right there, but I'll be here a lot. I think I live. So I'm excited for the coldest stuff. I'll be in coldest for the next year, and then
Any further questions for Chair Justina? Seeing none, we thank her for her time. Mr. Chair.
yeah, so I just looked through my phone and I was actually corrected. I am not a Luke Morrison recruit for Senate. So I was actually recruited by Corbett. But Luke did ask me if I wanted to be inactive. So you got like half, like four and a half, 1.5. So my first down is this placard. That is because I actually wasn't told there was a successor, but somebody else said Eli is a show. And I definitely believe that. My entire time that's kind of a show. It's been a lot of lessons, a lot of growth for me. Just learning how to like navigate friendships, navigate relationships. What do you do when relationships how do you make sure that you're respecting other people? How do you make sure that other people feel welcome? How do you tell people no? How do you tell people yes? Like, what do you do? And so, like, that's been a really big part of mine. I'm not really good at giving speeches, so I'm gonna try and keep it on track. But yeah, it's just been a lot of like growing, and I was thinking about this other day of like, what is my why? And I think like a lot of people I have mentioned like, what is their why they wanted to apply or like what they've learned. And something that came up was Galatians 6:9, and that really just kind of was like. So Galatians 6:9 chapter is let us not get tired of doing good, for we will reap at the proper time if we not give up. Therefore, as we have the opportunity, let us work for the good of all, especially for those who belong to the household of faith. And sometimes I feel like in Senate it's very hard to like always do the right thing or always do the keep other people's interests at the forefront. It's very easy to get tangled up in your own ego, in your own pride, to think like, oh, it has to be my way. And so remembering that first and foremost, we all serve the same body, and that is our goal. And it's just been like something that's been driving me. I also want to shout out my committee. They really have just been like awesome, amazing rock stars this entire year. We started off with like 9 people. We ended up with 2 people on my committee, and they still were just trying out legislation like nobody's business. Like I was just so impressed with like the work that they did, and just like how they were just so willing to just tackle other politics, be at every meeting. Sometimes they were more on top of meetings. They would text me and be like, "Hey, do you have a meeting this week?" And I'd be like, I think so, but let me check the calendar. So like they're just really awesome and rock stars, and they just did a great job. So yeah, that's it.
All right, with that, Chair Wilkite is open for questions. Chair Armstrong.
Chair, rules and regs. What's next?
Right now, I dig into 1879 ambassadors, so I'll be doing that. I'm currently deciding if I want to be in the Senate next year. I have a few other commitments that I've decided to take on, and so just really figuring out if being a part of the Senate will help me continue to serve as student body president.
Thanks.
Senator Willis.
Senator Willis, on campus caucus. What are you most proud of from your work in the Evidently Best Committee from the last session?
Honestly, just the relationships I've built with my committee members. I've talked to Ava about this, about like, that was really like one of my biggest goals. It's like, I'm a diversity and inclusion care. If nobody feels included, and I think feeling good things. It's like, this is my goal. So like the fact that I have not only committee members, but now friends and people that I can call and just talk to, this is awesome.
Any further questions? Seeing none, we thank them for their time. Executive Director of Operations. Okay, I have the opportunity to come here and I'm not going to talk for long. So I'm going to ask them what's your laptops because I know y'all are looking at them. And so because I never did it. And so guys, I just wanted to say that okay, so first of all, my name's Megan Herberg. I'm the EDO. I know a lot of y'all don't even know what that is. Basically, I help Eli. That's my role. I help Eli. I help y'all. I take meeting minutes. I misspell everything, and then Eli goes back and fix it. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. But what I really wanted to talk about is not me, but y'all. I have just been so impressed and like overwhelmed by like just the passion that y'all have for your roles for Senate and for Texas A&M. And I learned so much just from like sitting in that chair and watching y'all the way y'all speak, the way y'all serve, and just seeing everything that goes on behind the scenes. I have no words. This is not going to be a surprise, but Luke Morrison, DM me on Instagram. That's right. That's right. But truly, I did not even know Senate actually existed until I saw the DM. And wow, I'm so glad that I got to be here and just experience the last session with y'all, 77th session, and just see how passionate y'all are about what y'all do. And I was actually going to bring up the scripture, Galatians 1:10, that Sam brought up, because I think it really just embodies my beliefs and what Senate is about, is just not living to serve man, but to serve God. And through that, you're able to love others so well and love this university and love people so well. And since I have the floor right now, I'm going to be super quick, but I wouldn't be able to walk out of here without just getting to tell y'all what I truly believe in and what I live my life by, and that is my faith in Jesus Christ. And I don't know what y'all's beliefs are, and I don't know what y'all came here thinking or what y'all are going to leave thinking, but what I just want to say is what I believe is that the Lord created the world and created everything here and everyone and every single person here to be unique and beautiful, and we are broken, and that's why there's so much brokenness in the world. But He just loved us so much. He sent His Son to die on the cross and to just save us from all of our sins by grace. And there's nothing that we can do to deserve that, which is what's so beautiful, is we're able to just accept that Jesus Christ did die on the cross for our sins, which He's coming up. And so that's kind of what this whole week is about. And this weekend is the fact that Jesus died on the cross to take on the punishment and the death that we deserve. But by grace, He rose again, and now we are able to live in eternity with Jesus and with God in that love and saving grace. Like I said, through grace, not by works.
Amen.
And so I just wanted to share that with y'all. I would be able to walk out of here without just getting the chance to say all that while I am before. So also just love us so much, so proud of y'all. And I wish I could have gone to you guys. All right.
How many 4A states you're
Senator off campus. So someone who is thinking about finding a church, a recommendation here on politics.
Oh, that's a good question. I think a couple people in here might go there. But I go to First Baptist Bryan, and I love it so much. If you ever want to visit a church or don't have a church you're going to on this Sunday, Easter, I'll be there. So just pull up, text me if you don't have my number. I'm sure someone in here might. But I'd love to go with you. Sit with me. Go to 127 at night. It's so fun. 127 at night is the best. Fish H. Troyer. I can't spell. It's the worst. And I picked the one position where you have to type every single meeting. Really bad. Also, I have to look at myself everybody knows me every time y'all pull up y'all's placard. So if I'm ever staring at y'all weird, because I was trying to read the name of the placard.
So parents who are
What's next? What's next?
I am going to be a Bible study leader at FBC next year, so if you're looking for Bible study to get involved in, come to my house. It'll be sometime. We haven't decided time yet. But, that's what's next. All right. Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you for your time. Executive report starting with policy content representing SCP Coppinger. For a good little 30 seconds. You already started.
I couldn't have said something. Howdy, sis. Howdy.
I mean, I just couldn't resist saying that. On behalf of Kay and myself, it's been an amazing year. It reminds me of the words of Augustine correct most. Feels like it's been a hell of a part. And I just wanted to thank you all for all the memories, all the laughs, the good work, but most importantly, all the friends. You know, I know that when Kay sits up there and gives his reports, and when I've had the opportunity to speak to you all, I've always felt like I'm looking back not just at a whole lot of fighting good Aggies, but also a lot of great friends. So I would conclude there, but we had a very exciting Monday. Our occupancy bill got voted out of the Texas Senate, a vote of 31. With
that, for questions, President Patel.
Oh, President Patel, what's next?
Avoiding unemployment. That's the last one.
Sharon from.
Chairman Rolls-Royce, could you? Okay, that's a real question. You had an informal title when you were a senator, bestowed upon you by a fellow senator.
I did.
Could you inform those of us that were not there what that title was?
What my illustrious colleague Corbett is referring to as I was his elitist good friend, and I think it's actually in an act somewhere.
It is.
Yeah.
Codified forever.
Well, you have to live up to your reputation, and I'm so glad that the finance chair in particular hasn't started charging rent for sitting them back. But I'm sure that it's going good. So maybe you have to shake it the payroll.
Senator Horton.
Sir, what question? Can you please tell me how you do
I wish there was a secret. You're not going to like the answer. It's just chickens.
Morrison.
Chairman Morrison, Finance Mr. As discussed by Chairman Armstrong, you had a very notable and full name through the 75th session. I wanted to ask if you have any full titles there, whether bestowed upon you or self-appointed for the 78th session to go to this session.
Any titles for particular people or myself?
Or yourself?
Oh, EVP. Yeah. That was given by Kay.
Senator Bradley.
Senator Bradley, College of Engineering. When are you launching your own political campaign, potentially for the Texas Senate or even greater things?
Thank you for your question. You know, I've learned that sometimes the most impactful work you can do is by not being the figure. And that's certainly been true for me after all my electoral history.
Armstrong.
Armstrong was right. Last question. Now you are a person who has coined many famous phrases that echo the halls of the Coldest building. Long after you said them, could you explain, there's one in particular, could you explain to the room what a self-looking popsicle is?
We're in a dangerous category here. So but to actually answer your question, it refers to when an organization becomes self-serving. And so if, this happens a lot in large bureaucracies, you write a report, the report gets shuffled down to the third floor. Someone on the third floor puts a stamp on the report, gets shuffled back up to the fourth floor. And it just refers to how it's easy in a large organization like SJ to get stuck in that, sort of death loop of self-impossible. And we have to always remain focused on the people, the mission, the goal. And so that's what that means for the Student Senate tonight. Thank you for asking.
All right, with that, you may have first time. That will move to Chief Justice Leffingwell.
Well, thank you all so much for letting me sit up here. Semester, except for the sick person family. But it's been super fun. I've been able to, especially in this position of zero. Personally, professionally, had some fun challenges to work this year, but I was able to just really interesting thinking about like the way people process things. But I really enjoyed my time at Jake Court since my 4th year, so out now. Those of you that are sitting on the second week session, our Chief Justice won't actually be at the tonight. Associate Justice Robert Black. For him, I know he's not related to Ava, but I'm very excited for him. Associate Justices, I'm very excited to see where they go. Thanks for having me listen at all of these meetings this year.
With that, Chief Justice Leffingwell is open for questions. Any questions, Chair Armstrong?
Through your long and illustrious career on the court, what was your favorite case that you've done?
First question, it's so different. It's like, I'm kind of used to elections cases right now. I'm like very comfortable with them. But anything that like doesn't have to do with elections is interesting just because it's very so I mean think about the case we had finance, and that's like that was interesting just to take first never really studied that before. So I don't know if I'd call that my favorite because I just picked one. All the interesting.
Thank you.
Chair Bass.
Chair Bass, LR, what's your favorite constitutional interpretation?
Are you asking me when my judicial asking? Did you permission? Actually, so I right now as for Associate Justice and Chief Justice, I consider myself to be a specialist. However, I haven't done a law school yet. I'm definitely a teacher, so everybody in this room. Not professional, so actually it's like that decision was made on some searches and I don't know what is waiting.
It's all on campus talk. So let's say I'm a little disappointed we didn't get an American history lesson, but you're in 70. What's next for you?
I am going to the Texas Tech University School of Law. They have a school law program, and that's what I went into my undergrad thinking I wanted to do private law, and then this semester I got an internship at the Texas Water Resources Institute with all the missions that but anything else, there's a few different types of environmental law, so I'm excited.
Any further questions? Seeing none, you take your third time. Chairship to Pro Tip Patel.
All right, with that, the speaker for the last time, so took your presentation.
Alright, first things first, you heard me announce it earlier, but I'm honored to give Statesman of the Year to Senator Ryan Crislop. It is well deserved.
Thank you. I'm gonna need some guidance.
Alright, before we get started again, I have notes and concentrate. I want to talk a little bit about my pass down. You saw a bit to your Armstrong coming up, that it is this massive gavel, and I will use it to officially close out the session. And I'll pass it down to Chair Lucino. You've looked at my desk over the last year, you've seen it hiding back there, where it very well should stay because I was not looking at it. As I'll just start with it. As a lot of you know, my NCAA, I never once saw myself in this position, even every day of every day. I cannot believe that I have the absolute honor and privilege of serving you in this way. So I'm just incredibly thankful, reflecting on the past year, and I cannot believe the year has gone by as fast as it has. I've been asked a lot this year as to why I got involved at Texas A&M, especially Finish Day. Honestly, I hate getting asked that question because I don't know how to answer it. I think everyone always expects there to be this like perfect answer, like I got involved because I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. I don't have an answer. I've always just followed my heart and been where my feet are, and it's kind of worked out this way. I think that's what makes A&M really special, is that you can use your skills in really beautiful and unique ways to serve those around you. You don't have to chase titles or positions or go out for certain things. You can just be yourself and serve the best you can, and the rest kind of works out, which I know is really easier said than done, and I've been guilty of chasing the wrong things in the past, but I think what I've found the most life-giving is just serving those around me well. So, to provide some insight into the role of speaker, because I just know a lot of you don't really know what I do on a daily basis. It kind of can look different. There are times I get a phone call at 8 a.m. saying, hey, we need you at this meeting, or if this thing's coming up tonight, time to prepare. And so it just looks like a lot of being on my feet, making quick decisions. But a big part of my role is managing all of you guys and facilitating the space and setting the stage for you guys, but also amplifying everything into the externally. So to highlight some, I want to provide some perspective on this organization. So there's really two organizations at Texas A&M in which its membership is entirely elected by the student body, and this is one of them. What do you think about that? And at the same time, the first thing that this body does is elect its speaker. Normally, the speaker or the chief student leader of the organization gets elected, and they pick their leadership team and they pick the membership of the board. But in this way, it's kind of reversed, in which the membership is elected, you elect your chief student leader, and your chief student leader just stands there while the rest of the leadership team is elected, and you don't really have a say in the matter. And so in that way, this organization really has everything working against it. And so I think when you think about it that way, you should be really proud of yourselves and the work that you do and the way you're able to work together. That is really unique and special. So some stats from the year. We counted the number of minutes spent in this room, just over 2,355. That's a lot of minutes that I know, just like you, probably never get back. I think for myself and Chair Armstrong is probably pushing 10,000 at this point. But I was wrong last week. We were not at 92 pieces of legislation. We're at 93. Whoa, just one more. That results in 66 resolutions passed, 9 bills passed, and 14 acts passed, and I am very, very proud of that. Major projects include the creation of an elected student body vice president, going through with the applications process, the impeachment of Paul, volunteer opportunities fair, our legislative priorities that resulted in a bill being passed in the Texas Senate, which is no small feat. The Aggies Vote initiative that Chair Bass and Chief Policy Crockett worked on together. Academic Advisors Appreciation Luncheon, Dining Staff Appreciation, Sweets with Senators, SB Coppinger and I authored a resolution together. I can't tell you the last time that has happened. And then looking at adding agriculture fit this branch. That is just a small list of things that this body has done this year, so please be proud of that. Some thank yous that I wrote down very specifically. To you, the Senate body, thank you for choosing me, thank you for trusting me, and thank you for showing us the treat we were elected to do. Harley and the rest of the advising team, thank you for saying the last year. Thank you for giving me the tools and skills and always being willing and ready to walk through any situation, task, and conversation with me, and then being my biggest cheerleaders. I think believe and act. Internal affairs. Where do I even begin? Some of my best friends and favorites. I'm so proud of you. There are a group of people I can consistently trust and count on. In our very first IA meeting, I told you that I did not expect you to always agree with me. However, I did expect you to always trust that I made a decision with every aspect and consideration in mind. And I told you that when you had a disagreement, you pick up the phone and call me. And when you need something, you call me, you find me. You've done just that. I'm very proud of you. Becca, you've brought such a joy and light to IA, and I appreciate your commitment to the work, even when your phone was at the bottom of the list. Alexis, you and I sat down at the beginning of the year. We saw change the course of your life. And boy, oh boy, did you just run with it. I'm so proud of the way that you lead, and that you always bring the best perspective and say exactly what needs to be said. I know great things for everyone. Kelsey, you've taken a beast of a role and led your committee with such grace. You've excelled in your projects and provided opportunities for ownership and self-growth. You're strong, driven, and so capable, and I cannot wait to see how you shine at Texas. Sam, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for holding down the SS work well. You stand firm in what you believe in and are loyal to the people you care about most. You don't have anything halfway, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Luke, you have truly dedicated yourself to this body and your job, and I am so proud of you and your hard work this year. I can always count on you to tell me exactly what you are thinking, and I'm so thankful. Craig, one of the most loyal and silly people I know, I never once doubted you would tell me and others exactly what you thought, but would do so with such respect and integrity. Thank you for always making me smile through the moments when I wanted to pull out my own hair. Campbell, you've taken this position to ran with it. I'm so proud of you making the part. You have done so much that we don't even know about. You are a light and a joy and serve of others so well. Allison, you've stepped into this role mid-year. To share with it, you expect nothing but the best for your people, and because of that, I know you will lead with such integrity, grace, and confidence as speaker next year, and I will always be a supportive hand for the 78th session and you want. Corbett, one of my very best friends, and I have never been in this crazy world without you. I remember thinking every time you called me at 75th session, oh boy, what does he need? But I've always been one of your biggest supporters. The number of frank and honest conversations you've had this year is just frankly too many to count. I know I can always trust and count on you. Thank you for being by my side every step of the way. Eli, one of my very favorite people, my confidant and my literal right hand this year. I am so proud of you and just who you are, how you love and lead. You have picked me up in the hard moments and celebrated all the wins with me. And then lastly, to Kay and Claire, I talked about this past year. I'm just so proud of the three of us have led this year and staying behind and each and everything that we've done. And I really want y'all to understand just how lucky we were to have Kay and Claire at the helm this year. Claire has been in J Court for 4 years and stepped in the role of Chief Justice so gracefully. And so every role in J Court, by the way, has JAG, Chief JAG, Vice Chief Justice, and is now Chief Justice. And so with that, we got her excellence, her knowledge, and just so much from her. And so we are truly, SJ is truly better because of her. And then Kay, serving in all aspects of SGA as well. Truly just the experience and depth that the three of us brought together, I think made us better. And just really allowed us to be firm in our branches and be able to work with each other so well. The amount of heads up text between the three of us, I think, is a little scary. But we've always done that and known how we over communicate for the betterment of SGA. And so I'm very proud of them and just really thankful that it was all over them. My final reflection and advice, this job is so growing, managing the internal and external and everything between. I can tangibly see the moments that have grown my decision-making capabilities. I've seen moments for the first time. I stood firm in a decision and backed it up, and also met the people that disagreed with me. validated their feelings, understood, but knew that I wasn't changing my decision. Saw how that took people by surprise and how that grew my confidence in leadership. Something that I've been reflecting on a lot recently is that I recently had the opportunity to listen to a bunch of fellow student leaders. And we all were asked about 100 times over the course of a week how we got to where we were. And I didn't realize how special those conversations were until probably the last time I heard them all say it. But every single time, sure, the verbiage changed and maybe they got more specific to who they're talking to. But every single time they started with, I never saw myself in this position. And these are your best of the best student leaders at A&M. And they all said it like that. And it took me a minute to realize the impact of that. They never saw themselves holding student body president, corps commander, head yell leader. They never chased that title. They focused on serving those around them well, and that's how they got to where they were. I encourage you, as a lot of you move into the roles, to remember that. It doesn't matter. Your pedigree as a leader does not matter what title you hold. It matters how you serve those around you well. And you do your jobs to the very best of your ability. You all took a leap and ran to be elected as a student senator at the largest public university. Do not lose sight of that. That is unique. You are elected to represent the voices of the body. That is so special. A lot of you ran in very contested elections for re-election, or contested elections this year, and you took a spot from someone. Don't lose sight of that. You committed to a job, do the work. That is so special. It doesn't matter what ticket you ran with, who you sit next to. I could care less if you ever agree with anything I said up there. But I do care that you come down to this floor and treat people with respect and integrity, because that's what we're called to do. And I think, too, if you disagree with someone on the floor, have a conversation with them about it. Don't let a disagreement get in the way of having a relationship with someone and learning from them. Everyone has a story. Learn their story. Learn their heart. Learn why they think they're doing it. Maybe you'll have a new perspective. Maybe that'll shift your decision making. And maybe next time you're faced with a difficult decision, look at it a different way. I think Senate is at its best when there are disagreements. Those disagreements happen with respect and integrity and excellence at the forefront of everything we do. Because that's when the true work happens, that's when the representative work happens, and that's when I am so proud of you. There have been times this year where other student leaders on campus have come to me and like, oh, you're going through this is why I never got an SGA. Well, that's not why I got into SGA. That's not why I've done it. So it breaks my heart when other students are telling me this, and that's their perception of us. And so I want you to reflect on that and just think about that and think about your why. I didn't get into SGA for the title or for the drama, for all of that. I got into this because I wanted to serve students and I wanted to represent myself. And I hope that you can see that I've done just that. And I hope that you say that I've done just that. The last things, it is unique to serve Texas A&M in the way that it's built. So please don't lose sight of that. Do your job. It's an honor to have your job. Some advice that I got from someone this year was act in a way that you will be proud of at any point in time later. Whether that's 5 minutes, an hour later, a day later, a week later, 10 years later, always be proud of the way that you acted and reflect. Use your gifts. You are all so unique and uniquely talented. Use your gifts in the ways that best serve Texas A&M, and know that you all have them. Do your best. No one that is ever reasonable expects perfection from you. But do your best, because you're being given these wonderful opportunities to just make the best of it. Find your voice. Watching some of you come in on your first meeting and sitting in maybe a back row and never talking, to watching you come down to the floor for the first time, those are my favorite moments, because I was you. I didn't speak my first session. I could probably tell you the one time I spoke the 73rd session. And then I ran for a chair 76 and then got up here. So watching you guys find your voices and learn has been one of the best opportunities. So take that and don't be afraid to use your voice. The work this year has just truly been a joy, and lastly, I did this all for you. So thank you for choosing me, and thank you for trusting me. This has been one of the best experiences of my life, and I'm just genuinely so grateful. It still does not feel like my life. And so Thank you for all of your hard work. I am so proud. And oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Last in January, I nominated you guys for Org of the Year, and I'm so proud that we were selected as one. And so proud of y'all for all the work because I am so very proud of all of you. And good luck to 78 session. I know you are going to do even better things than I have ever done. Thank you.
You got it. After the period of question and answer, do I see any questions for Speaker Blackburn? Chairman Armstrong.
Chairman for Illuminates. Madam Speaker, what's next?
I will be in Midland this summer working as a reservoir engineer, and then I will be back and in August for my last semester on graduating. So, computer science and chemical engineering.
Senator Willis.
Senator Willis, on this caucus. There's so many questions that I've asked, but how the heck did you do this with being an engineering major?
I don't think I've really slept in the last year, to be honest. But my Google Calendar is what I live and breathe by. If it's not on there, it's not in my brain. I don't know about it. That's really the only way that I sometimes.
Is there any more questions for the speaker? Seeing none, we'll thank her for her service.
Roll call led by Pro Tem Patel.
All right, 70, breaking down the doors, so let's make this quick. Chief Justice Nothing Love. Speaker Blackburn.
Howdy.
Chairman Armstrong. Howdy. Chu. Howdy. Chairman Morrison. Howdy. Chairman Gaddis.
Howdy.
Chairman Bass. Howdy. Chairman Cornell.
Howdy.
Chairman Jusino.
Howdy.
Chairman Wilhite. Edie Herbert.
Howdy.
Senator Fisher. Howdy. Senator Fawn.
Howdy.
Senator James. Senator Williams. Howdy. Senator Garcia.
Howdy.
Senator Oberoi.
Howdy.
Senator Pham. Senator Vernon. Senator Wilson. Senator Kelsey. Senator Sanders. Senator Hunt. Senator Gilliard. Senator Maynard. Senator Morrow. Senator Bradley. Senator Cho. Senator Dack. Senator Kim. Senator Shiner. Senator Tucker. Senator Applewhite. Senator Cox. Senator Matthews. Senator Noche. Senator Van Hoosier. Senator Booth. Senator Collinsworth. Senator Long. Senator Hughes. Senator Coatsman. Senator Jojo Owens. Senator Pritloff. Senator Willis. Senator Attaway. Senator Banta. Senator Duncan. Senator Flores. Senator Kowalski. Senator Hoffman. Senator Berger. Senator Monk. Senator Norton. Senator Oliphant. Senator Ann Kate Owens. Senator Pesek. Senator Steele. Senator Smith. Senator Teets. Senator Vargas. Senator Horton. Senator Rasco. Fish Gilbert. Fish Preston. Fish Reynoso. Fish Troy. Thank y'all.
Senate is adjourned. Do a period of opening roll call led by Pro Tem Tucker. When she says your name, please say howdy. Howdy, y'all. This is my first time, so please have grace. If I say it wrong, let me know. SVP Mallory. Chief Justice Rayfield. Christina. Howdy. Okay, Chair Burton.
Howdy.
Senator Vaughn. Senator Victoria. Senator Tanner Owen. Senator Craig Williams. Senator Allen. Senator Council. Senator Jackson. Senator Attaway. Senator Dewey. Senator Simeon Kim. Senator Richards. Senator Smith. Senator Williams. Austin Williams. Senator Yost. Senator Chesler.
Howdy.
Senator Hurt.
Howdy.
Senator Bongo. Howdy. Senator Lamon. Howdy. Senator Smith.
Howdy.
Senator Wesley. Howdy. Senator Williams. Senator Chu.
Howdy.
Senator Collinsworth. Howdy. Senator Long.
Howdy.
Senator Alvarez. Senator Burnside. Howdy. Senator Edgington. Senator Hughes. Howdy. Senator Hudson. Howdy. Senator Lewis.
Howdy.
Senator Paul Wolferfeld.
Howdy.
Senator Ahmed. Senator Barber. Howdy. Senator Becker. Howdy. Senator Brown.
Howdy.
Senator Clark. Here, howdy. Senator Singer. Howdy. Senator Flores. Howdy. Senator Garcia. Howdy. Senator Laser. Howdy. Senator Glover. Howdy. Senator Hall. Senator Hitchcock. Senator Hicks. Senator Tony. Senator Kaiser. Howdy. Senator Monk.
Howdy.
Senator Murray. Senator Collins.
Howdy.
Senator Sanders.
Howdy.
Senator Wright.
Howdy.
Senator Hargrove.
Howdy.
Senator Maynard. Senator Roberts. Senator Nathan Williams. Senator Bisoni.
Here.
Senator Bradley.
Howdy.
Senator Cho. Senator Dow. Senator Medvedev.
Howdy.
Senator Shuck.
Howdy.
Senator Wells.
Howdy.
Senator Wu.
Howdy.
Senator Pesek. Howdy. Senator Pope. Senator Patel.
Howdy.
Senator Sanchez. Howdy. Senator Sloan.
Howdy.
Senator Field.
Howdy.
Senator Sykes.
Howdy.
Senator T. Howdy. Senator Vander Heiden. Howdy. Senator Wilhite. Senator Williams. Howdy. Thank you. Okay, we are now going to proceed to our invocation and pledges of allegiance led by Riley Longoria on behalf of Christ Church and Meredith McGee on behalf of Restoration Church.
Heavenly Father, thank you for today. I praise you so highly for every individual in this room, gathered in your presence, ready and willing to serve. Thank you for their character and for the work you've already done in their life. I pray that as we move forward tonight, we would bring grace and discernment united on the same mission.
Lord, I especially praise you for Holy Week. Help us not to go numb to the weight and importance of this time. As Christians, we remember the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross and celebrate his resurrection, so that we may have the opportunity together. For anyone in this room who does not know, I pray for curious hearts. And for those who do believe, give them the boldness and compassion to share that hope with gentleness and love, not just this week, but every week. Thank you for this day and the good work that you're doing in this room. Lord, we love you and we trust you. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Statement, Act Honor Code led by our longest serving senator, Senator Patel.
The Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and community through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institution. An Aggie does not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do.
Now, it's a period of open forum. Pro Tem Tucker, do we have anyone for open forum? Okay. We will now move into the approval of the April 2nd, 2025 meeting minutes. We will attempt to do this via general consent. Do I see any objection to the approval of the minutes? Seeing none, these minutes are approved. Okay, we're now going to move into our times of internal affairs elections. And we're going to start with the election of the Finance Committee Chair. So the floor is now open for nominations. Do I see any nominations for Finance Chair? I see Senator Coates. Senator Coates on campus caucus. I nominate Senator Peter. Senator Hughes, do you approve this nomination? I accept this nomination. The floor is still open for nominations. Do I see any nominations? I see Senator Sloan.
Senator Sloan, off-campus caucus. I nominate Senator Walker Wright.
Senator Wright, do you approve this nomination? Perfect. Okay, Senator Hughes will now be candidate 1. We will refer to her as candidate 1. Senator Wright will be candidate 2. Candidate 2, please execute with your characteristics. Say your point. Do you have any? That's a good question. Do you have, did people?
We sworn 4.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move to that before we do the election. So, if you were a senator that was not here last meeting and you have not yet been sworn in, please come to the floor to be sworn in by Associate Justice Dockford. Okay, and reminder, we stand for confirmation.
I state your name, do solemnly swear.
I, Josh Sanders, do solemnly swear
To faithfully execute to the best of my ability.
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
The duties of the office of.
the duties of the office of
State your office.
College of Mays Business School
For the Texas A&M University Student Government Association.
for the Texas A&M Student Government Association
To uphold the honor of the same.
to uphold the honor of the same
At all times to protect the welfare of the student body.
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
And to promote good relations between the students.
and promote good relations between the students.
And those concerned with the university.
and those concerned.
So help me God.
So, God.
Election, the floor is still open. Nominations, do I see any other nominations? Okay, seeing none. Okay, candidate 1, you're now open for a period of presentation if it comes to. Candidate 2, what? We'll have 10 minutes beginning. Howdy, Senate. Senator Hughes on campus. If you have not met me yet, my name is Mary Claire Hughes, and I will be running for Finance Chair for the 78th session. So a little bit about me. I'm the class of 27. My major is marketing and I'm from Pearland, Texas. And a fact about me is that I am a Holy Blue peer mentor. So I am a sophomore advisor for the University Honor Program. And as part of this program, I teach UGST 181. So I teach freshmen about what to expect, not just from our campus, but also from the University Honors Program and going forward. So you can see on here, I do have my freshman group, my picture, as well as the sophomore advisors that are in the program. And as for my other involvement, during my freshman year, I was the vice president of marketing for the Electronic Community Council, as well as their sophomore advisor liaison in my sophomore year. I was also a part of the finance committee during the 77th session, as well as the University Honor Sophomore Advisor and the RHA National Communications Coordinator. So, much of on-campus experience, really wanted to get involved and have it. As for the finance chair role, I'm going to briefly paraphrase what is on this slide here. So, the finance chair will preside over the finance committee. We are going to take charge of the Student Government Association budget and determine the allocation for where the funds should be distributed amongst the various organizations among SGA, as well as set up committee meetings if we decide that we need to assess where the funds are being allocated and they're being used towards the student fund. As for why it should be me, I have experience as part of the planning committee during the 77th session. I went through the process of watching presentations from the various SGA organizations, so we got to hear from them and see why they believe they deserve funding for their various activities and how they were having an impact on the student body. And then we met as a committee, decided where those funds should be distributed, and then the finance chair would then get back with the various organizations and say, here's the funds that you have been given and why. I also have experience in other leadership roles as well. Like I stated previously, I was a sophomore advisor at the University Honors Program, as well as a member of the RJ Exec Board. So I have a lot of experience with communicating, not just within an organization group, but also with other organization groups as well as a liaison for both community council and sophomore advising. I would communicate with both organizations, which I believe is important for this finance committee, as you will be needing to communicate with the other SGA organizations as well, explaining like how we came to our conclusion, as well as how much funds they were being given and what that whole process is like. So communication is a very important part of this role. And I want to make this process fully transparent for all parties involved, ensuring that everyone is aware of how this process works, as well as how we arrive to our conclusion. My goals for the finance chair is having an impact on the student body. We all came here, as I mentioned, to serve the student body, and I want these funds to be having as little of an impact on the student body as we can. So with the finance committee, I hope that we can come together and decide as a group where these funds should be distributed to have an impact on our constituents, as well as effective and efficient communication. All parties involved should have communication in a timely manner, and I want to have that as finance chair. I believe that I can effectively communicate to all parties involved what should be the decisions of the finance committee, as well as ensuring all SGA budget is used for the student body. This ties back a little bit into my first point of impact on the student body. So all of our budget is going to be used towards the student body. This will not only ensure that we are having the most impact that we can, but also that we can advocate for more funding in the future. If we're using the entirety of our funds, we can then advocate that we are not only deserving of more funding, but that we can also further impact on our student body moving forward. These are my letters of recommendation, and I want to introduce my character witness, who is a good friend, as well as the 77th session caucus leader and 78th session senator. And you will have 5 minutes beginning now. Having said it, my name is Senator Rick Simpson. I'm just going to this conference. And today I'm here to talk to you guys about my friend, Mary Claire Hughes. She's the one who I've had the privilege of working beside, not just as a senator,
not just as a colleague, but also getting to know as a friend. We both served as sophomore advisors in the honors program here at Texas since last spring, and everyone comes to know. We first met, we were in the same course, and I always got to know her based off of her. And I always found her doing her work, knocking away, doing what she was doing. But I've also come to know her in other ways. I've seen her professionalism shine through. Working as sophomore advisors, we're not only responsible for coordinating events for the honors community, but she also teaches a class for 15 or so freshmen. And in addition to teaching the class, she serves as a mentor and a resource to them. And I have so many freshmen who come at Mary Claire. She's really made my freshman experience so much better. She's someone I can go to when I need help. I'm trying to navigate A&M, and I just don't know where to go. Mary Claire brings the same care and commitment into everything she does. She's not just part of Senate, not just part of honors, but she's also involved in the St. Mary's Catholic community. She's involved in RHA, and I think that really shines through that she's trying to make an impact on the student body here. Mary Claire additionally has served in the Senate. So running for the position of finance chair, she definitely comes in with experience working on this committee in the last session. So she has a clear understanding of how the budget process works and the duties that are required. I know that Mary Claire is going to take with her the same work ethic, the same passion that she brings to everything she does. She shows up on time. She shows up prepared. She shows up willing to learn and to contribute. I've never seen Mary Claire do anything but put her best into everything she does. Mary Claire lives out the Ivy core values day and every day. Excellence in her academics and work ethic. Integrity in how she follows through. Leadership in how she guides others quietly but effectively. Loyalty to her friends and to her commitment. And respect to every person that she encounters. And most of all, selfless service is at the heart of everything that Mary Claire does. In choosing Mary Claire, you're not just choosing a finance chair. You're choosing someone who wants to serve for the right reasons, to make an impact on the student body for the better. Someone who already has earned the trust of her friends, colleagues, and peers, and is ready to earn yours. I'm proud to support Mary Claire for finance chair, and I hope that you'll join me in voting for someone who not only has the qualifications, but the heart and the character to do well. Thank you, and I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. With that, the candidate is now open for a period of questions. Do I see any questions for the senator? I see Senator Burnside.
Senator Burnside, on to your case. So, as you said earlier, you were on the finance committee last year. What is your experience with that, and will you prepare you most for this role if elected?
One experience I would say is definitely in meetings where we've come to a conclusion about the budget, you would hear everybody's opinions and also what different details they took from the presentations, because we get presentations from every single SBA organization. And that sort of collaboration that we get between each other, I feel is very important. As part of finance chair, everyone's opinion is heard for this budgetary process part of the committee. So hearing that process and going through it was very important, and seeing how I could go about that situation in a leadership role. So I think that going through that process is important.
Do I see any other questions? I see Senator Owen. Please direct your question to Pro Tem Tucker.
Mayor, I'm Paul Dramatic Life Science. The Finance Committee faces a lawsuit like I did this last year. How would you go about that? Advocating on behalf of students and then
Okay. Well, definitely a very good question. I would definitely make sure that I would carefully explain how we came to that decision. As I said previously, I want to make sure that there is full transparency in how we went about our decision. That is explaining to our SGA organizations how we are going about our decision in the beginning. So when they're presenting our budgets to us, how are we going about that decision? As well as at the end of it, here's how we made our decision and what you can expect from us moving forward. So if we maintain effective, efficient, and transparent communication throughout this entire process, I would hope that that would benefit us through a situation like that. Hopefully that doesn't arise. But I would hope that through that sort of collaboration with our other organizations, we can more effectively navigate the situation.
I see Senator Steele.
Senator Steele, All Kansas Caucus, how do you ensure an effective allocation of the SGA budget?
Good question. So ensuring an effective allocation of budget, that involves communication with everybody, but I would also advise that we go through a situation similar to how we did it last session. We had a very specific rubric of how we navigated it during our previous session. So we would go through each presentation and say every single thing that we thought was important, as well as making sure that they went through our rubric of how they exactly would impact the student body. So I would think that something similar to that would be wise, as it would lead to a more standardized method of how we are allocating our budget, as well as ensuring that every single finance committees are being heard. So ensuring that everyone gets a chance to speak at our meetings and going through that process would ensure that we have an effective allocation.
I see Senator Hurt.
Senator, my question is, why is transparency so
Well, transparency is important because money is involved, right? So when money is involved, you want to know how that is getting spent and why. So by having transparency through this process, they can know how we arrived at our decisions, because the finance committee is in charge of the large budget for each of these organizations. So with transparency, they can know exactly how we arrived at our decisions, and they can also know how we arrived at our conclusion from the very beginning. So once they know how we are making our decision, they can more effectively communicate to us how they're making that impact on the student body, and they can also communicate to us how they believe they can make that impact with the money we're getting.
Do I see any more questions? I see Senator Westlake.
Well, I would hope we get more funding as an organization. That's one of my goals. I hope that we can advocate for ourselves as an organization, and I hope that we can get more funding in the future to have that better impact. As far as my goals for this current session, I hope that we can make a good finance committee, and I hope that we can effectively have that communication to ensure that we can make that impact that we have with the budget we currently have. So having everyone's thoughts heard on the finance committee.
I see Senator Ronco.
Out of that, if there are so many words, right?
Yes, briefly.
We know that there are so many words that these are going to go to the then obviously, and all of us have a goal of staying excited. How do you ensure that the funds that you involved?
Please wrap up in 1 sentence or less.
The students that is getting money, how do you ensure that the funds?
You have 1 sentence.
Okay. Well, I explained the process a little bit, but we do get a presentation as a way to show how we are going to be using this budget, and I'm speaking as the Senate, not as Finance Committee, to have that impact on the students that I was saying previously. If they have that presentation, we can go from there, and we can discuss as a Finance Committee how we are using that budget to serve the students as a citizen.
With that, the period of questions is now over. We thank the presenter for her time, and we will grab candidates. You are now in the first period of the presentation. You will have 10 minutes beginning of
Howdy, Senate. Howdy. Walker Wright, Mason's Caucus. Thank you all. Thank you, Senator Sloan, for nominating me for this position. And I just love to give you all my why. Is why I'm being a good leader, why I'm being a good finance chairman. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself.
That's me. I'm a finance major from Driven Springs, Texas, which is this little town outside of Austin. I'm in the class of 2027. I'm a second generation Aggie. This is my beautiful family there. My dad, class of 97, my mom, class of 96, my sister, my brother-in-law, both. It's in Texas A&M. A cool opportunity I get to do this summer is I get to go lead bike tours in Paris. I'll be getting out with a couple buddies, and I'll be going on study abroad. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more about different cultures and kind of go see what else has off for me. Some goals through my life is I want to go wealth management, financial planning, just kind of see what about that has. A lot of people are financially illiterate, and I'd love to just help out. Here's some of my involvement. I just got elected for our executive council as public relations chair in our Wings Club, where we serve the REACH project. The REACH project, for those of y'all who don't know, we serve the essential Aggies here on campus. We give back to those that help clean up everything, provide food for us, and just ultimately make it a better place. I'm a member of the student council, where I serve on the Mason Change Committee. I was in the 77th session. I was on the finance committee, and I was on community relations. I was a delegate for GLC, which is Global Leadership Conference. I currently work at the Center for Executive Development at Mason Business School. I am the marketing chair for Farmers Fest, which is this country concert we have every spring and every fall now. And we basically put on to raise money for Paris Christian School, which is a school in Guatemala, and ultimately fund kids to attend private school. I was finance chair for Aggie Murphy Challenge, which recently held. It was a great success. This is my vision for finance chair. I have three things. I want to go for impact, efficiency, and I want to elevate. So my impact, we have the budget to impact 22 organizations here on campus. I think that holds a lot of power. And a lot of people rely on that. And I think that's something that we need to be completely transparent, communicate a lot with them, be effective, and provide them the money that they need. But we also need to see that it's okay. Make it efficient. I need to work with my finance committee. I need to be full communication, just all across the board. That way we're hearing out what 22 organization members have for us and what we need to just hear out. I want to elevate as if our budget, which we're pushing for, is raising up a little bit. I want to give more money allocated to the organizations that need it. I think something that makes a leader great is being a servant leader. We be a servant leader. That ties a lot with Mark 10:45, which talks about the Son of Man didn't come down to be served, but to serve. And I think that talks a lot about what we're here for and our purpose and what we need to do for others at Texas A&M. And I think that's something that I love and I'm so passionate about. In this past spring break, I got to go down to Guatemala and build houses for underprivileged people with some members of the Aggie Men's Club. And yeah, I just think that's a great aspect that we have at Texas A&M and the culture we have, and I'd love to, for that's my favorite core value. These are my letters of recommendation. Grant Hockenberry served as 76th finance chairman. He did a great job. He's been a great mentor of mine. Luke Morrison as well, 77th finance chairman. Cole Sloan, dear friend of mine, one of the hardest workers I know, junior class president. Campbell Gaddis, who served as community relations chair last year. Andrew Applewhite, former supervisor president and speaker, and Josh Sanders, senior class president. And then here's one of my dear friends, Luke Morrison.
Hi guys.
Also had a privilege of being to Walker and his part, his character, and so years. I want to kind of highlight two real facets of Walker that I think are super important as well. Is one, just your dedication and simplicity. When we first started talking about this position in the spring, he was super passionate. We wanted to learn every single thing about it. Being on the committee, you got to see a bit of that, but not. And so literally asked every single question you could imagine. And we just worked through the ins and outs, and like that commitment to learning, to communication, to doing the job excellently, I think super important. I think also just his commitment to service. Walker is someone who really cares for people. Here's his organization, here's doing things excellently. I have seen that in him. What an awesome dad he is, but further I've seen that these qualities will serve him so incredibly well as a coach.
With that,
The speaker is now open for a 5-minute Q&A period. Is any questions? I see Senator Sloan.
Senator Sloan, off-campus caucus. Can you kind of talk about what you do at the Center for Executive Development, or any lessons that you've learned from the other CEOs and CFOs that
Yeah, that's a great question. So for those of y'all that don't know, Center for Executive Development is on the 4th floor of the new Wayne Roberts building. It's a cool opportunity that businesses come in and they learn from our PhDs and professors and doctors about leadership skills, about how to go back to their own company and serve others and lead well, hopefully move up in the ranks. But it's cool to talk to some of them and learn the ropes about what it takes to become successful and what it looks like. And that's building relationships, and that's leading on others, and it's obviously working hard, but I mean, it ultimately comes back to one thing. I mean, that what a lot of them said is that faith is something that drives them a lot. So it's really clear. Thank you.
I see Senator Steele.
Senator Steele, off-campus caucus. You mentioned you were a member of 2 committees during 77. Could you go a little bit more in depth of kind of what you mean by that?
Yeah, for sure. So I was on community relations, and then went to a couple before I switched over to finance committee, where we went through some transfers. Luke and I met, and we just talked about different ways to allocate the budget.
Permission to
Briefly.
So were you a part of the finance committee when they created the budget?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I see Senator Patel.
Senator Patel, off campus, what's your favorite Aggie core value?
It's a great question, Senator. As I highlighted earlier, selfless service. I think that's something that a lot of us can think of when we think of Texas A&M and what makes this place so great. An hour ago, I was talking to Mattress Mac. He's just talking about how much he does, but also what he gives to, and he gives so much. He gives like wholeheartedly into things that he believes and gives back to others. I think that's so cool to see, like what you can do for others. So, thank you.
I see Senator Hurt.
Senator Hurt for school.
Briefly.
We were taking
Yeah. Like, have you ever worked on a team where like it hasn't been successful? It like communication is the number one thing. I think if you're transparent with your committee, you're transparent with the leaders of the 22 organizations, and you set up organization and time. I work, pretty strongly with time management, so I've got that down, and just scheduling meetings, working with them, working with my committee. I think we can run it efficiently and transparent, so we don't have to, have any situation.
Senator Babanco.
Senator Bronco for school. How do you plan on making the budget and SBA budget overall actually outreaches outside of our SBA?
Can you focus a little bit on the SGA and on
Well, this we are local. It's hard for us to outreach outside of SBA. How do we make sure that we're reaching students from all sides of campus, whether you're in here, for this year, or go all the way in Memphis, whether you're in finance, and maybe or
Yeah, our budget only goes to 22 different organizations. Right.
How does it so that that's part of the budget also is 1% always.
For sure.
Yeah.
Say your point. Yeah. Okay. We'll move to the next question. Senator Sloan.
Senator Sloan, off-campus caucus. Just wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about how you met Mattress Mac, where you were, and stuff like that. Great question. I don't even know how I ended up there. I was sold free pizza at the association, and then end up talking to Mattress Mac for an hour.
Do I see any further questions? I see Senator Weberfeld.
Senator Roberts, on-campus caucus. Clearly, you're very involved around here. You've done a lot of things. How are you going to ensure that you have enough time to put the due diligence into serving those, as you said, 22 organizations would be fun?
Sure. That's a great question. Freshman year, I learned my number one thing was time management, how to process involvement things like that. I think that's something I prioritize. My group founder, one of my best friends, And we'll work with my committee to be like, because I'll start in the summer, start working with the advisors.
Choose your
start planning.
equipment, 1 minute or less. With that, we thank the presenter for their time, and we will now exit the room with his character witness. Debate, and quick reminder that we're only going to debate for a candidate. Any negative comments about another candidate will be called out of order. And we are going to keep, I'm going to remind you to say not candidates names, but 1 and 2. And we will start with the first round of debate for candidate 1. Do I see any debate for candidate 1? I see Senator Hurt. You'll have 2.5 minutes beginning your conference.
Senator Bushel. Just briefly, as I've learned in the past sessions, never to not talk good about somebody personally, especially if they're your friend. And then candidate 1 is just a great friend, and as a loyal true to the Aggie spirit, and she's very talented and obviously has a passion for students. So I'm going to just take some kind words just so we can follow rolling on that. With that, I yield to Senator Gills.
Senator Yost.
You will have 1.5 minutes beginning your copy.
Senator West College Arts and Science Caucus. Howdy, Senate. Hi. I haven't had the pleasure of knowing candidate 1 for too long, but in the time I have, she has proven herself through and through in multiple ways. And the way she speaks, when you just listen to her talk in simple conversation, you know she's addressing you and addressing the topic with honesty. And the way she thinks through problems and obstacles, you can tell she has the experience with what she's doing. But first, let's go back to the honesty. Honesty tends to go out the window when money is involved, especially in government, or in this case, student government. So it's important to consider when picking the chair who has oversight over $50,000, just how transparent and honest they will be. And rest assured, candidate 1 will uphold nothing but honesty. Now, on experience, working with money can get messy and confusing. So, with candidate 1's experience, not only in the finance committee, but in multiple other areas within her time in the Senate, multiple sessions in the Senate, and other organizations across the campus, we can be assured that candidate 1 will run the finance committee smoothly. So, I ask that you please see her honesty, see her experience, and vote candidate 1 for your finance committee chair. Thank you.
Who do you yield to?
I yield to the floor.
Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, we will now move into the first round of debate. We now move into the first round of debate for candidate 2. I see Senator Sloan.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Senator Sloan, off-campus caucus. Candidate 2 is one of my best friends. He's my roommate. He's someone that I've had incredible opportunity to work with throughout my whole time in Texas. He's my first friends. And every single day, whenever I get up and I get around, he's always working on something. Whether it's any of the various involvements that candidate 2 has, whether it's he's getting up early to go to work at the Center for Executive. He's always working on something. And during his time at SGA, I've noticed that he deeply cares about the student body, and that's why he's here. He's not here for titles. He's not here to be financial. He's here to serve students, and this is where he feels called to be. And that's why I want to debate for him too. It's not just his character, it's not just his work ethic, but it's this really deep care for the student body. I think that's demonstrated throughout all of his involvements. Whether it's the Agnes Club, whether it's his work, whether it's Business Student Council. He's obviously qualified to be finance chairman. I would argue he's the most qualified we've ever had student finance chairman. So I urge you to vote him to grant selection.
Seeing that Senator Ahmed has been yielded to, you have 1 minute and 13 seconds to get in that.
Howdy. Peter Abbott, off-campus caucus. I've had the privilege to know candidate two my entire time in college. Not directly, my first freshman semester, but got to know him very well through different Bible studies we were in, different groups we were part of. And he's someone I've come to know. Like was addressed, he is very reliable, very honest, very hardworking, very committed, but he is very intentional in everything he does. He knows how to ask good questions to get the most out of people around him. And I think that's one of the best qualities that he will bring to the table as finance chairman. I believe that he can get the most out of this committee, and I believe that he will be able to do the best job out of anyone because he is someone that truly cares about the individual, cares about its impact, cares where it's going, and like what I've been saying before, not just focused on himself, is very outwardly focused, others focused, selflessly serving, and he is beyond qualified. Mulligan mentorship he's received through the different jobs, through the different titles he's held. He is beyond qualified and will do a fantastic job in the position. That I yield to Senator Bradley.
Seeing that Senator Bradley has been yielded to, you have 9 seconds to get
Howdy, Senator
Hi.
Bradley. It seems that he was able to hold Max's schematic attention for over an hour. That seems like something that's pretty great. Maybe he could throw him a couple bones. I think you should support candidates.
Motion for secret ballot.
Point of order.
Senator Ford, Senator.
Okay, we will now move to the second round of say your motion.
Sir Sloan on campus caucus.
Second.
Point of order.
Say,
Senator Williams, college back. Unfortunately, the previous question did not include plan coverage or debating.
that's true. We'll now move to the second round of debate, starting with debate for candidate 1. I see Senator Steele. We'll have 2.5 minutes beginning at Howdy.
Senator Steele off campus caucus. I'm sure y'all are glad to see my other again. The question I want to pose to y'all today is let me think. Why do we have a chair? That's a great question. We have a chair so that we do things efficiently. I mean, that's really what we do. We can have things be anarchy, just have everybody doing everything. Or we can have a collective group of people who are pushing towards one task. And to me, candidate 1 is the best person for that job because she has actually been through the budget process. She's the only candidate, to my knowledge, who has been through the budget process. So I think that makes her the most qualified candidate. She also speaks relatively regularly at a Senate meeting, which I don't think makes a good senator per se, but it definitely shows that you have passion. Because somebody can just sit at a meeting and not speak at all, and that's fine. You can do work in other committees. But a truly passionate person will speak. That shows you're passionate. And she has done so, and she has led through the budget process, and I think that makes her quite a qualified candidate for this position. With that, I yield to the floor.
Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, we will now move into the second round of debate for candidate 2. Do I see any debate for candidate 2? Seeing none, we will now move into a period of voting. We will attempt to do this via standing vote. All those in favor of candidate 1, please rise as you are able. All those in favor of candidate 2? Brief stand at ease while Pro Tem Tucker goes to get our picture. By a vote of 15 to 34, Senator Wright is elected Finance Chairman. He will now be sworn in by Associate Secretary.
I state your name. Walker Wright. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. To faithfully execute to the best of my ability. To faithfully execute to the best of my ability. The duties of the office of. The duties of the office of Finance Chairman. For the Texas A&M University Student Government Association. The Texas A&M Student Government Association. To uphold the honor of the same. To uphold the honor of the same. At all times to protect the welfare of the student body. At all times to protect the welfare of the student body. And to promote good relations between the students. And to promote good relations between the students. And those concerned with the university. So help me God.
And now I'm going to create a election for the Academic Affairs Chair. The Academic Affairs Committee Chair is, the floor is now open for nominations. It's the nomination. I think Senator Bradley.
I nominate, Senator Bradley called me. I nominate Senator Kim Collier.
Senator Kim, do you accept this nomination?
Yes.
The floor is still open for nominations. I see Senator Maynard. Senator Maynard, Education. I nominate Robert Cooper. Do you accept this nomination?
I accept the nomination.
The floor is still open for nominations. Do I see any nominations? Seeing none, Senator Kim, you will now be candidate 1. Senator Hargrove, you are candidate 2. Candidate 2, please exit your room with your character witness. Okay, candidate 1, you can come to the floor. You're now for a period of presentation, 10 minutes long. You may begin it.
All right. Hi, Senate. Senator Kim, College of Arts and Sciences. I see a lot of familiar faces from 77, but for all the new people here, welcome. My name is Sukram Kim, class of 28. Hey! Excellent. So a little bit about myself. I'm actually an out-of-state student. I'm originally from Seoul, South Korea, but my hometown is Melbourne, Florida. I'm a psychology major. I'm a first-generation Aggie. Actually, first-generation college in the United States. I am Air Force contracted with the Corps of Cadets here. Some fun facts and hobbies I have listed there is I tried my best to look at previous presentations and come up with compatible ones. I visited about half the states in the United States, all the way down the East Coast from New York to Florida, and all the states, like southern states, not south, southern states in California to Florida. First day in the United States was Valentine's Day 2014. And so my hobbies are taekwondo, reading, running, chess, and fishing. The involvement and experience I have listed up here is Obviously, I was senator for the 77th session. I am in the Corps of Cadets for Squadron 12. I'm on the Cadet Leadership Council, and recently the good commanding officer has promoted me to executive officer. I'm also involved in an organization called Cadet. It's Cultural Awareness Diversity Expansion Team. It does what it says in the name. I was privileged to be a part of the 11th Intentional Leadership Conference. That's a conference that A&M holds every year, working to connect fire Aggies who are leaders into for next generation things. I'm a Rep A committee member, president of Bridgetown U. I know Senator Hurd is here. He knows a little bit about that. That's a new organization dealing with bipartisanship. Really excited for that. At the very end, I threw in Florida Boys State. I know there's some Texas Boys State, but I thought I'd throw Florida in there. Some of those pictures, I believe that picture on the right is of General Welch at the 11th Intentional Leadership Conference. The picture at the bottom is with Secretary Barstowski. That was during the Warsaw, Washington program. If any of you guys were there, he's the former Secretary of State. My favorite picture there is capturing the yell leaders as a fish. I believe that's actually Kyler Fife. Can everybody see that? I'm pretty sure that's Kyler Fife. He's the head yell leader. He was junior yell leader. That was pretty cool. Values. I kept it pretty simple here. Faith, integrity, excellence, and selfless service. For some of you may know that integrity, excellence, and selfless service are Air Force core values. I like to think the Air Force got it right. And there's not a whole lot of things that I could add to that particularly, except for faith, which I think is the bedrock of all major personal values. Most importantly, vision and objectives. So I wanted to narrow down how I plan to operate as academic affairs chair to 3 goals: being present, being realistic, and being informed. I think, as previous chairs have noted, being in committee rooms, being with the administration, faculty, other members of student government, whether that be in the executive committee, or executive cabinet, or executive committees, I think it's really helpful to be present and as the representative for students regarding academic policies. One example I'll use for that is there's a committee called Academic Operations Committee. That's where dozens of faculty, academic advisors, and administrators gather, I believe, once a month to discuss whatever the academic agenda of the day is. There is one student representative for that. So it's absolutely imperative that whoever the academic affairs chair ends up being is present. Being realistic, when weighing in on academic matters, it's really easy to get lost on what makes sense on paper, but in truth, it makes no sense in real life. I believe, I don't know exactly when it was, but reading days were implemented. That's a perfectly realistic, helpful policy as to whether certain student rule changes are not. They may work on paper, but they certainly do not work on paper. And being informed. I will never claim to be fully informed or best informed on any matter, and which is exactly why there will be a team, the Academic Affairs Committee, and certainly other partners in student government that I plan to work with to execute the best policy. There's my letters of recommendation and my conclusions.
Okay, we will have 5 minutes again.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy! I'm Stacey Gusser, and I have the absolute pleasure starting of serving as a senator for 2 years. I'm also Sukyo's junior in the board of minutes, and so he was in my alternate degree. So I've had the pleasure of talking here about Go George this year, and just kind of like overcoming some. I think with any sort of like leadership role, the values that matter most are competency, and then I think just having ethics. And so why does Kim have ethics? Like, how does he show that? I think the biggest way he shows that is through each intentional interaction that he has with people. And so something I really like about Kim is that if you had the chance of talking with him, each chance he gets to talk with somebody, he really like looks into their soul and wants to get to know each person. So I see him regularly at Dunkin' Dining Hall, for example. Kind of like where all the cadets do that. And so he's getting lunch with his buddies or just other people on the floor. And I think that really like matters a lot because what that shows is that if he can create that sort of like family environment within the board, then like what can you do with like academic affairs? Like what can you do with Senate? And I think that really just ties into like his ability to like create community. And I think that's so good for engagement because I was a senator for 2 years. I understand how Senate can at times not be very engaging. Pushing like there can be a little bit of and then another thing too, I think him is exemplary at his time. He's a freshman board, and I think he's part of this a lot of years, but he's really like striving his best to be as present as possible. And then on top of that, he's balancing a top course of balancing the responsibility. For y'all heard all the stereotypes about freshman cadets have that like do hard workouts or anything. Right? Kim has done all that. So I think that really just goes to show his excellency with every single pass he's given. And then another thing about that I would say about Kim is that he's just never a trinket. He's somebody who anytime you pass by, it's always a smile. I think that really just goes to show a portion of his right. And another thing too is that my section, my core output is really big on students. And so Kim is somebody that I really see. I really think that if you can do that within and then I feel like like this guy's like a short guy, whatever. His ideas like don't just pertain not only does he want to get a contract to go to go out and just better always so just have to support him.
Thank you. Center is now open for a 5-minute period of questions. Do I see any questions? I see Senator Patel.
Senator Patel, off campus, Angel mentioned and you're getting contracted cadets early registration. Talk a little bit about that project.
Absolutely. I think as a contractor cadet myself, I could not imagine because of class registrations that delayed by commissioning, which is something that you have to actually work out with. I know this is something that's been worked on, discussed previous years by many student leaders. I actually know Senator Gupser when he was a senator, and still now does support that idea and is working extensively on it. I think it's just really valuable to give that opportunity, make sure an opportunity rather is not taken away from those who are seeking a commission in whatever branch of the United States military, so that they can get on serving our great country.
Senator Bazone.
Senator Mazzoni, College of Engineering. Senator Kim, how did your experience in the Corps Cadets make you to a better leader?
That's a great question. I think a big part of being in the Corps Cadets, especially a fish in the Corps Cadets, is learning peer leadership. As senators, a big thing is working together, whether or not there's shared positions or there's obviously leadership, but at the end of the day, it's peer leadership. We're working with students of like 3-year age gap. I think that's really important to remember. Remember what's important, which is the service aspect, and what's not, which is certain personal or political aspects. And I think the elements here leadership.
Senator Wells.
Senator Wells, engineering. You mentioned that as a member of the
Please
board.
stand when you're asked.
You mentioned that in your time in the Corps, you were very busy because of your profession. How are you going to juggle the responsibilities of acting in various chair qualities?
That's a good question, Paul. I think it's very valuable, to be able to manage time regardless of the. I think being for those challenges, but it's part of it is it the time or is it just you can't? If there's time constraints and time limits where you don't have enough time, or there are time constraints that are specifically allocated throughout your day. I think that as long as I can effectively do what I've been doing, with managing my Corps cadets responsibility, my Air Force responsibilities, my personal academic responsibilities, as well as the Senate, as long as I continue to improve, receive help from all my mentors, I don't think I'll be put in trouble. And I'd also like to add before this meeting, the Air Force cadets, Air Force freshman cadets, got our field training for him. And obviously that was hard to make it, but you can work that kind of thing. And that's part of the resilience. Thank you.
Senator Willis?
Senator Willis on campus caucus. Briefly.
Briefly.
You mentioned that you play chess. What's your game?
Really not this right. So truthfully, I have not played chess more than.
So your motion?
Second.
Since.
You're good. Seeing that a motion has been made and seconded, it is debatable and amendable and requires majority votes. We'll attempt to do this by general consent. Do I see any objections to the motion?
Yes.
State your objection. Now we will do this by standing votes. So all those in favor of extending the period of debate by 2 minutes, please. Please be looking at me if I. All those opposed? By a vote of 43 to 5, this motion does pass. We keep going and it will be extended by 2 minutes.
To keep it brief, 1,300, just a little bit over 1,300 now. At the current moment, I'd love to play here.
I see Senator Hurt.
Senator Hurt, just talking about ending permission rights.
Briefly.
Ending legislation is and all actually acts. Continue to work.
Well, I certainly think that if that happens, I don't know, there's a strong position Student Senate can take on what this legislature does on that. I personally find it disagreeable. One of my professors actually discussed that in class. If it comes to be that Faculty Senate is no longer, if they do get abolished, that would be unfortunate, but we will find ways to work with faculty. And that involves, I guess, a bit more grunt work and actually going to those professors, speaking those professors out, going to the departments and such.
Senator Adamick.
Senator Adamick, off-campus caucus. You mentioned your intentionality. You described that a little bit more about like how you plan to present this role.
Yeah, I think with the men who are referring to the conference, some of the main points brought up there on how to display or how to execute potential is collaboration. It's one thing to lead your own vision, but I'm running for academic affairs committee, right? There's a committee of people, and when we discuss a potential policy or potential event, it's important that we all get on the same thing. And have experience, work it out, and then we go execute. As long as we work our intention on how we want to do something in committee, we have a clear vision for how we execute.
Senator Bradley.
Senator Bradley, person to preface.
Briefly.
Not many people knows about me, but I also used to do Taekwondo and I got the first degree black belt. Yes. Might I ask what degree of belt you are in Taekwondo?
First degree black belt. I did not know that about you.
Thank you.
Okay, Senator Chu.
Senator Shukor Cadets, I just wanted to ask if you've talked with the previous academic affairs chair, Kelsey Brown, if you board further, wanting to go for this position.
Yes, I have talked to Kelsey. I am on academic affairs committee 77 session. A lot of our talk was really revolving around academic operations. I believe that we work really well.
Senator Sanchez.
Senator Sanchez, on campus, what would you consider to be the great strength, strong students that in student?
I would say my greatest strength is my perspective on academics.
Please wrap up in one sentence or less.
I haven't always been a great student. I had to learn how to be good.
With that, we thank the speaker for their time and to bring Senate East and bring in Camden.
Motion, motion for Senator Jeff, yes, College of Art and Sciences. Senator College of Art and Sciences, move to secret ballot.
Seeing that a motion has been made and seconded, it is undebatable and amendable to any other type of voting and requires a majority vote. We will do this by a voice vote. All those in favor of moving to a secret ballot, please say aye.
Aye. Yeah.
The ayes have it. We will now, the vision has been called. We will now move into another form of voting. We will attempt to do this via standing vote. All those in favor of moving to the secret ballot, please rise if you are able. Make sure you're looking.
Point of information.
Say your point.
Senator Kilof keeps talking. This yay or nay?
Yay. Yeah. All of the opposed. By a vote 20 to 31, this motion does fail.
Point of information, state your point. Natalie Troyer, Senate fish aide. Who was it that called for a secret ballot vote to be cast? Can you say your last name?
Yost.
Yost, thank you.
Okay, we will now move into
Senator Blanco Bush, and Representative Ferris Allenson.
Say your point.
Point order.
say your point. Okay, with that, we will now move into a period of presentation for candidate 2. You will have 10 minutes beginning at Howdy.
Hey, well, howdy said it.
Howdy.
My name is Robert Hargrove, and today I'm running your 78th section academic affairs chair. A little bit about me. I know that I did this slide to some of y'all this last 2 weeks when I ran for speaker, but I am an education major, hoping to go into educational policy and administration. I do have a lot of free time coming up this next semester, so much that in the last 2 weeks I added on a minor in leadership as well. I'm almost done with that as well. But I just say that because I want to reassure each and every single one of you that I do have time to commit to this position. I have 3 days off, as I say, during my speaker presentation that I hopefully will use to help each and every single one of you in the Senate. I am from Nevada, Texas, and I am in the class of 2026. Hey! All right. A little bit about my values. I am a very faith-centered person. I believe Christ should be at the center of every single one of his life, and I hopefully exemplify each and every single one of these values here, each and every single one of you here today. Forgiveness, compassion, integrity, service, and humility. These are values that are very important to me. A little bit about my SJ experience. I've been here for a long while now. I am the longest serving senator, only one left from the 75th session. The only one in the room who was a senator in the 75th was actually our advisor from Bill Beck. She started as a chair back then. And essentially, since the start of my career in the 75th session, I have served in academic affairs. And that was where I was first placed when I was Speaker Pro Tempore of the 76th session. I still continued to work in academic affairs. And this last session, I was the vice president of academic affairs. All my time here, this is hopefully going to be my 4th session going into academic affairs. I'm very passionate about it, and I believe that each and every single one of our students here at the university deserve an affordable and accessible education here at the university. A little bit about my outside involvement. I'm involved in these other courses. I'm hopefully going to be involved in the PSN class council this next year. I did just learn that I'm going to be a Bible study leader for PSN, so if any of you go for Bible study, I'll be looking to be a PSN next year. About the Academic Affairs Committee, I know some of you are very new and don't know what the Academic Affairs Committee is. They essentially consider all legislation, ideas, initiatives that are concerning with academic affairs. As stated in the name, anything related to academics, they cover. About the chair position, there are 3 explicit duties of the academic affairs chair. That is to preside over the AA committee and consider all ideas. That's working with the faculty senate academic affairs chair. There are 2 of them this year. They co-chair, Matthew and Adam. Really great people. Got to work with them on several committees this past year. The executive branch is AA, who hopefully will be confirmed at this next meeting. And then, of course, the Ivy Honor Code Office. I know a lot of great organizations on that conference. And then the last duty is, of course, being open to all academic problems and concerns to help propose solutions and resolutions to those problems. Now, about my vision for academic affairs. For academic affairs this year, I want to hit on really big things in advocacy, and then I also want to help manage our committee very well. In advocacy, I want to say this. I have things that I want to work on, but additionally, each and every single one of you have the opportunity to serve on the academic affairs committee. And I want to support each and every single one of you for whatever academic initiatives that you want to bring about that represent your caucus, your constituents, or the university as a whole. I want to support you. I've built a network of academic affairs contacts over the last 3 years, probably the largest one in the student government. And I want to help connect each and every single one of you with the appropriate administration and stakeholders to be able to push forward your advocacy in your areas of academics. Some of the things I want to tackle is, of course, affordability. This is a working thing that the student government has worked on for many years and started back when I was in the 75th session, working with Open Educational Resources, which have saved students over $3 million this year on textbooks alone. Additionally, tackling third-party resource tools, we started a committee this year to tackle this. I did complain to the provost enough about Hackback and iClicker, and so now we are looking to get rid of third-party tools, and we also are working
on campus initiatives that make sure professors know when they add the resources within Canvas that they do charge you. A lot of professors didn't know that when you add TACPAC or you add iClicker to Canvas, that it didn't charge you. That is something that we changed this year working with the academic affairs chair in the session. Under the course, we do have course reserves and library reserves for pretty for our students here on campus. Registration, I want to work on registration. Hopefully with course marking. This year we defined what a low cost class was. I got to start a subcommittee in the libraries, and we defined that as $50 or less. That means textbooks, resources in those courses, $50 or less, they're going to be considered low cost, no cost. And when that happens, you now will have the ability to use the toolbar feature in registration that I work with registration with, to be able to locate all of the classes that register as low cost, no cost. That's going to be a really great and amazing thing next semester for students who are looking for affordable education. Additionally, evaluating who gets priority registration, and of course, broad spectrum waitlisting. I want to streamline the process of course requests. We have the ability to do that. I've worked with registration, and I can assure you that we can do that. It's about getting faculty and administration on board. Hopefully, we can talk about this next year. Academic advising, continuing the luncheon that we started back in the 76 session. And then we just got out a survey to all the academic advisors. If you didn't know this year, we centralized advising, which is a big step to the university to get a broad spectrum resources across the university for our students who need advice. Educational partnerships, we just got a new department in the provost and academic affairs area, which is the Office of Educational Partnerships. If you didn't know, 25% of our campus is Hispanic. That's around 19,000 to 20,000 students here on this campus. That is why we're a Hispanic serving institution. Additionally, we have Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander serving recognition as well. That means about 7,000 to 8,000 of our students recognize themselves as that. And then I really want to work on first gen as well. First gen is a really big place in my heart. I love first gen students. My parents are both first gen students here at Texas A&M. And we have identified over 19,000 students. And I really want to work with the First Gen Center to be able to help those students and get development going forward. Lastly, IB Achieve students. If you didn't know, on campus, we do have a program for intellectually disabled students called IB Achieve. One of the biggest things that they don't get to participate in is an Aggie group. They participate in 90 hours. They get a certification, and they take courses here at this university, yet they're not afforded the same ring that all of us Aggies here are that complete 90 hours. We earn these rings, and so did they. They get what is called an Aggie Achievement, which is not the same as an Aggie ring. It kind of looks very different, and it doesn't even have the same crest. These students are here, and they take 90 hours and deserve a ring. I believe they deserve it. And so this is a big thing that I want to advocate for our students. We've already started that process in AA this past year. I want to get to the complete. And additionally, adding to their course load, they have a very small amount of courses they can take at this campus. I want to ensure that we're increasing that because they deserve to have those courses available to them just like I also wanted to provide continuity. These are all of my connections, all the offices, all the work I've done in my past 3 sessions of Student Government Association, all the work I'm going to continue to do in the 4th session. And so I want to help provide continuity to each areas. If you're passionate about something, let me know. I want to connect you with these offices. I want to connect you with these initiatives. That's why I'm running for chair today, because I have these connections, I have these experiences, and I want to connect each and every single one of you with the administration you need to advocate and put forth your best foot in your initiatives towards the communities. Lastly, committee management. I have a plan to manage the committee, of course. Skip over that for a second, sorry. My biggest goal is to get your development, to be able to push forward your work, to be able to help you where I can. That's leveraging my 3 terms in academics and being able to plug you in with administrator and stakeholders that are concerned about it. My management style is moving to autonomy. We start by working together, but eventually we move on to you completing your own initiatives, reaching out to administration by yourself. I'm not going to handhold you during this committee, but I will help you the best that I can. I believe in a one-on-one approach. I believe working with you one-on-one. And then, of course, I encourage collaboration. I really want to see collaboration with the executive president of academic affairs. And should faculty senate remain, I don't know if y'all are keeping up what's happening in the Texas State Legislature, but should faculty senate remain, hopefully we will get the opportunity to collaborate with their academic administrators. Some of my letters of recommendation, some prominent people on my academic affairs committee this past year, my chief of operations, the student body president at Galveston, the director of open ed at Texas A&M University, the director of the Baptist Student Ministry, some other students and prominent student leaders on this campus that have served in years prior. And with that, I would like to introduce my character witness, Mr. Benjamin Pruitt. I would like to thank him first of all. There was a little bit of a last minute change in character witness due to some mixing up of scheduling, but
He served as my 75th session chief of advocacy and a 76th session senator. And without further ado, I will take the floor.
With that, the character witness is now open for a 5-minute period of presentation starting now.
Howdy! Howdy! Hey guys, my name's Ben Pruitt. I've been in SPA for about 3 years, 2 years in legislative relations, a year in the Senate where I served as BNI chair, and then this past year where I got to serve as Robert's chief of advocacy in academic affairs. And I was a little bit last second when I heard about this, but truthfully guys, I wouldn't have come up here if I didn't believe that Robert has the best vision, the best resume, and I just really do truly at the bottom of my heart believe he's the best person for this position. But to kind of get back to how I first met Robert, I remember when I first joined Senate, I was kind of confused on what I wanted to do. I didn't really have a real big idea, but then I really got to dig into it, and I discovered the Aggie Achieve program. And as Robert explained, it's a program that represents a bunch of students who have severe neurodivergency, such as autism and Down syndrome. And as someone who has autism myself, I grew up with it, and with occupational therapy, it's been a part of my life and who I am. I kind of really got into this idea of this is what I want to do with my life. I want to advocate on behalf of people with autism, on behalf of people who have these neurodivergencies. And when I did become chair, kind of midway through that session, truthfully, no one helped me as much as Robert did. I remember going in, I was like, what the heck do I do with these projects? How do I reach out to people? Who do I email? Gosh, it's so confusing. I just remember Robert being that calming hand who said, don't worry, you got this. Here's the people you should reach out to. Here's how you should go about it. Here's these resolutions we can write that are amazing. And he helped me so much grow as both, just a chair, but also just as a leader here on campus. I really want to just emphasize the fact that Robert, at the end of the day, has poured, I think, going into 4 years of his life in academic affairs. I mean, just in terms of the commitment he's had, few people really love academic affairs quite as much as Robert Hargrove. And I just really do believe at the end of the day that he's just a phenomenal individual regarding academic affairs, his knowledge of it, and most importantly, his contacts. Because at the end of the day, the chair is kind of the face, you know what I'm saying? The chair is kind of the face person who's up front, talking with the administration, especially in academic affairs. They're the person who's going to meetings, talking with the provost, getting to really know a lot of these administrators and work on projects directly with their committee. And truthfully, I mean, gosh, sometimes I text Robert and he'll be like, oh yeah, I just got out of lunch with the provost. And I'm like, what the heck? You just got out of the thing with who? And I just really think it just goes to show how much he's really poured himself into being a contact with these people, being an advocate on behalf of students, and really just going on to be just an amazing senator, an amazing leader, an amazing person, an amazing Christian, amazing all around. I've had the pleasure of calling him my friend for the past 3 years. I've had an even bigger pleasure of getting to watch him grow as a leader and watch him be amazing in the field of academic affairs. And truthfully, I think he would just be amazing in this role, both with his experience, his passion, and his vision for being academic affairs chair. But yeah.
With that, we will now move into a 5-minute period of questions for the presenter. I see Senator Sloan.
Senator Sloan, off-campus caucus. Permission to preface.
Briefly.
I love the idea about Aggie Achieve. I actually went to meet with some people over at the association recently to kind of inquire about it. And kind of the answer I got was that it's not going to happen. A couple of years ago, a senior region fought for real hard. That was the reason that they got the Aggie Achieve rings. How are you going to should you try and take on this endeavor with the association and it being a pretty walled off thing, that's never going to happen? How are you going to approach that and fight hard for it?
Yes, thank you for your question. I appreciate it. We've actually already started work on this. We've been working with Aggie Achieve mates, we've been working with the Aggie Achieve director, and we've been working with the association to identify the issues that are happening with that Achieve ring. We've come down to a few things that pertain to the provider of the ring that will not provide it for the students. We're working on finalizing and figuring out what that issue is and attacking that. Right now, these are initial meetings that we have already. The future of this IC is continuing to work with the program coordinator. He just got completely selected by our College of Education from before. But I really want to work with them, and I want to identify what is the problem. Why can't they get this ring? And I want to take that with the association. If we can't get the ring, what are tangible solutions that we can have that are a middle ground? Can we get the outer layer, the sides of the ring? Are there ways that we can bestow maybe the top of the ring only to the students? Because I know right now the Aggie Achieve students, they don't wear their rings, they wear it on their necklaces. They wear it on bracelets. They don't feel like it's a real Aggie ring. And I feel like these students deserve the opportunity, because they take 90 hours here at this university, to have that right.
Thank you.
Senator Bradley?
Senator Bradley, College of Engineering. Did you have a conversation with Senator Kim if he was nominated to run for Academic Affairs Chair, that he not accept the nomination so that you would run uncontested for this chair position?
I did, yes, and I will say that I prefer to have an uncontested race in any situation. I mean, I don't like to fight against people for positions of leadership, and I think so. Excuse me, Senator Kim is a really great amazing person.
All right, thank you.
Senator Yost?
Well, I'm sure it's quite obvious to everyone in the room that
It's point of order.
Senator Mullen.
I have Senator Maynard. Senator Maynard, education, you mentioned in your presentation ways that you have goals for the academic process, but then you were also open, and your great speaker also talked about how you were open to uplifting senators and the issues that they're passionate about. How do you kind of balance that with the say your point? That's true. You're out of order. I see Senator Hurt.
So my question regarding international students, how do you consider? Yes, so I actually on my committee have been working with the International Student Services System, ISSS, and we have already been working on ways to help benefit our international students here on the campus. It started way back in the setting succession when we were wanting to work on international student housing, but now has focused more on how can we plug in our international students even further. I look forward to working with those students as they make up a majority of our graduate population here on this campus. And I'm very excited to get the opportunity to rep those students in the future.
Senator Wells.
Senator Wells, Engineering, you mentioned specifically about your initiatives on low cost or no cost classes. Have those begun to implement already?
Yes, so I have the opportunity to create policy and a workflow system to identify the classes that are represented in that low cost, no cost system. They will hopefully be implemented for when you register in the fall of the spring 2026 classes, AAU. Hopefully that will be a thing that you'll be able to get to see, and we're looking to add a toolbar that will have a filter to select low cost, no cost, any courses you will find in registration. One of the biggest things that I want to do is that.
I have Senator Yost.
Senator Yost, Arts and Sciences. I'm sure it's pretty obvious to everyone in this room that your experience in
Senator Chief work as a good senator.
That's true, you're out of order. Senator Slum.
One personal privilege.
State your point.
Senator Chu Cortez, ladies and gentlemen, we can just not, if you're gonna preface, ask the preface because it makes it much easier and that way we're not wasting time.
Permission for preface.
Briefly.
With the Department of Education.
Please wrap up in 1 minute or less.
Federal level, I was there.
Me and the provost have talked about this in extents. We are finding solutions to consumer resources that are available for our Hispanic students, but also our students across the university, as HSI does not just give students who are Hispanic resources, but gives resources to everyone here.
With that, the period of question and answer has concluded. We will now into the room and then move into a period of debate. Reminder that we are under an extreme time crunch. We are kicked out of this room at 11 o'clock and we have something coming up in open session that is very time sensitive. So I would appreciate if we keep it very concise. We'll move into the first round debate for candidate 1. Do I see any debate for candidate 1? I see Senator Bradley.
Senator Bradley, College of Engineering. Howdy guys. Hi. Candidate 1, I've had a great opportunity to work with him in my caucus. He always brings the energy, even if he's not energetic. He's always a very calming presence. He's always very level-headed, very clear thinking. He's candidate 1 has great experience in the Corps of Cadets, which is something that we should value as a Senate, as that is a big core value to Texas A&M, who we are. And with that, I yield to. Sorry.
Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, we will now move into the first round of debate for candidate 2. Do I see any debate for candidate 2? I see Senator Wiener. You'll have 2.5 minutes beginning at Howdy.
Since for mayor education, I don't put down here a lot, but I just want to speak on my good friend and candidate. I've with him a lot. I really hope that in his time they'll kind of put aside maybe your preconceived and see a senior who's been in academic affairs for 3 years now, going into his senior year. And I just really hope you see his connections and his ability to make things happen. You know, I came into Senate really young this fall. And he worked with me actually where he worked with me to write my first piece of legislation, which through that I went to meet the president on Friday. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I'm kind of focusing to see his experience. That's it. And I really
Thank you. Seeing that the floor has been yielded to, we will now move into the second round of debate for candidate 1. Do I see any debate for candidate 1? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round of debate for candidate 2. Do I see any debate for candidate 2? Seeing none, we will now move into a period of voting. We will attempt to do this via standing vote. All those in favor of
point of order. We already moved to have this be a ballot vote.
Okay, we will do this by ballot. State your point. It wasn't. I was out of order.
Oh.
We will attempt to do this via standing vote. All those in favor of candidate 1, please rise if you are able. All those in favor of candidate 2? By a vote of 35 to 24, Senator Kemp is elected academic affairs chair. Please call it until after confirmation. It will now be confirmed by Associate Justice Blackburn.
I state your name, do solemnly swear.
I, Stephen Kirk, do solemnly swear.
Faithfully execute to the best of my ability.
To faithfully execute to the best of my ability.
The duties of the office of.
The duties of the office of academic affairs.
For the Texas A&M University Student Government Association.
For the Texas A&M University Student Government Association.
To uphold the honor of the same.
To uphold the honor of the same.
At all times, protect the welfare of the student body.
At all times, protect the welfare of the student body.
And promote good relations between the students.
And promote good relations among students.
And those concerned with the university.
And those concerned with the university.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Relations Chair, the floor is now open for nominations. I see Senator Owen.
Senator here. I'd like to nominate the good senators from the College of Ag and Science, Senator Franklin.
Senator Williams, do you accept this nomination?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the floor is still open for nominations. Do I see any nominations? Seeing none, we will now move into a period of presentation for candidate one. You'll have 5 minutes beginning at now.
Well, howdy, Senate. My name is Clay Williams, and I am a proud member of the Fighting Texas Aggie class of 2027. And I'm running to be your community relations chair for the 78th session. A little bit about me: I'm an animal science major with a minor in agronomy. I'm the oldest of 3 boys. I'm from Madisonville, Texas, and we do have Buc-ee's. Those are my good friends, my family down there in the corner, my 2 best friends up there in the right corner. Some fun facts: I'm a first generation Aggie. I'm neighbors with a famous country music singer. I don't know if you'll listen to Cody Johnson, but he is in fact my neighbor. And I'm the best 42 player that has ever walked the Dixie Chicken. If you don't believe me, we can line it up after this meeting. Not really, I'm going to bed. I'm ready for the next one.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So my involvement, I was College of Ag and Life Sciences Senator in the 77th session. I was part of the Community Relations Committee. I'm part of Coles Council, which is on the leadership committee over there at College of Ag. I'm part of class councils, and I'm a member of FPC Brown. Some of my values: the big 3 F's: faith, family, and friends; grit, service, accountability, and excellence. I believe that if you can't uphold all of those, you can't be in leadership positions such as these chairs. Some of my goals: I want to serve as the bridge between the Aggies and the members of the community, as all relations chairs want to do. Strive to maintain a positive image of the SGA and Texas A&M University in the eyes of the community, and to find ways to give back in many ways to the community that supports Texas A&M so dearly. I believe that sometimes we get so wrapped up in what the community can do for us, but in a proper relationship, it has to work both ways. So we have to find a way. We have to find more ways to give back to the community. Here are my letters of recommendation, and I'd like to introduce my character witness, Mr. Brad Fisher.
Howdy, Senate. Miss you guys so much, I had to come back. So here tonight to talk about Clay Williams, a dear friend of mine. I think we've known each other since like sophomore year in high school, a very long time. And throughout that time of knowing Clay, I know he's committed to everything he signs up to. I know he loves people really well, and I know that he's going to work harder than every person in this room to fulfill the duties of this role. I, like all of you, want to go home, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Clay Williams is one of my best friends. I adore him. He's been there for me. He's loyal. He's kind. He's true. He's an Aggie through and through. And I just rhymed. That's all you need to know.
With that, the speaker is now open for a period of questions. Do I see any questions for the presenter? Seeing none, we thank him for his time. Debate for the candidate. Do I see any debate for the candidate? Seeing none. We'll now move into the second round of debate for the candidate. Do I see any debate for the candidate? Seeing none, we will now move into a period of voting. We will attempt to do this via general consent. Do I see any objections to the election of candidate as our community relations chair? Seeing none. Okay, can we bring him up?
Clay. Sorry. Didn't get it.
By a unanimous vote, Senator Owen is.
I state your name, do solemnly swear.
I, Clay Williams, do solemnly swear.
Faithfully execute to the best of my ability.
To faithfully execute to the best of my ability.
The duties of the office of.
The duties of the office of Community Relations Chair.
For the Texas A&M student. for the Texas A&M University Student Government Association,
for the Texas A&M University Student Government Association,
to uphold the honor of the same
to uphold the honor of the same
at all times, to protect the welfare of the student body,
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
and to promote good relations between the students
and promote good relations between the students
and those concerned with the university.
and those concerned with the university.
So help me God.
So help me God.
We will now move into a period of open session. Do I see any motions for open session? I see Senator Patel.
Senator Patel, off campus, I move to consider the softly called muster.
Second. Seeing a motion has been made and seconded, it is debatable and amendable and will require a majority vote. We will now move into the first round of debate against consideration of this motion. Do I see any debate against this motion? Seeing none, we will now move into the first round of debate for this motion. Do I see any debate for this motion? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round of debate against this motion. Seeing none, it is the opinion of the chair that debate has become one-sided, and we will now move into a vote on this motion. We will attempt to do this via general consent. Do I see any objections to this motion? Seeing none, this motion does pass. Will the author of the resolution please make their way to this? You have 10 minutes to present beginning of comment.
Howdy, Pro Tem so I just want to go through this whole thing because I think that this is a wonderful tradition that deserves its time and recognition. I will try to make it fast. While the tradition of muster can be traced back to the year 1899, on-campus muster was first held in the year 1924, and it has been held on the 21st of April ever since. On-campus muster is the largest worldwide muster ceremony, where mainly the names of faculty and staff members of the union class and current students are read during the roll call for the absent. And the 101st on-campus muster will be held at Reed Arena on Monday, April 21st, 2025 at 7 p.m. with Lieutenant General Michael L. Downs from the class of 92 as the keynote speaker delivering the muster address. And muster is Texas A&M University's revered and solemn tradition that unites Aggies in remembrance of current and former students who have passed away. Therefore, let it be resolved, the Texas A&M University Student Senate honors the signature of Aggie muster and all of the Aggies who have passed, and the Texas A&M University Student Senate appreciate and applaud the Aggie muster committee for working to keep the Aggie muster tradition alive. And the Texas A&M University Student Senate urges all Aggies to attend muster ceremony located near them, and specifically all Aggies in College Station to attend muster at Reed Arena on Monday, April 21st, 2025 at 7 p.m. It's aptly called muster, let the comrades and serve you.
With that, the speaker is now open to a period of questions. Do I see any questions for the presenter? Seeing none, we thank them for their time. Debate started with debate against this piece. Do I see any debate against this?
Madam Speaker, I have a motion.
State your motion.
Senator Herbert, Education Caucus, I move to add myself as a sponsor and open up sponsorship for the resolution.
Second.
Seeing that a motion has been made and seconded. It's an amendment and will require a majority approval. We will attempt to do this via general consent. Do I see any objections to opening up sponsorship? Seeing none, Pro Tem Tucker will do that in this motion. This amendment does. Okay. We are now going to move into the first round debate against this piece. Do I see any debate against this piece? Seeing none, we will now move into the first round debate for this piece. Do I see any debate for this piece? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round debate against this piece. Do I see any debate against this piece? Seeing none, it is the opinion of the chair that debate has become one-sided. We'll move into a period of voting on this piece, and we will attempt to do this via general consent. Do I see any objections to the approval of the softly called the muster resolution? Seeing none, this piece does pass. Before it's still open for motion. Floor is still open for motions. I see Senator Hurd.
Senator Hurd.
Second.
Seeing that a motion has been made and seconded. It is debatable and amendable and will require a majority vote. We will begin with the first round of debate against this motion. Do I see any debate against this motion? I see Senator Steele. You have 2.5 minutes beginning at howdy.
Senator Steele, howdy.
Hi.
Steele, Lafayette Caucus. I just have a really quick resolution that I would like to be presented in open session. That's it. That's all you do.
Say your point.
Senator Hargrove, Education Caucus, directed towards Senator Steele. What is your resolution?
The OER, open education.
Okay, seeing the floor has been yielded to, now move into the first round of debate against this motion. Do I see any debate against this motion? Seeing none. Information. For this motion. We'll move into the first round of debate for this motion. Do I see any debate for this motion?
Senator Willis pointed information.
Say your point.
Directed towards Senator Steele again. Is this a time sensitive resolution?
I suppose not particularly, but I would rather get it done really quick so we don't have to worry about it next meeting. I'm sure next meeting will be a pretty long one.
We are still debating. We're in the second round. First round debate for this motion. Do I see any debate? Seeing none, we will now move into the second round of debate against this motion. Do I see any debate against this motion? I see Senator Bradley.
Senator Bradley, College of Engineering. If this piece is not time sensitive, our next meeting will be starting at 7 promptly, hopefully, so we should be able to get through everything out.
Point of
Senators, this caucus.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm sorry.
It's not interesting.
I would. Yeah, the jacket. Point of personal privilege. According or Chair Horton rules, a senator may remove his jacket for comfort as long as he was putting it back on.
Okay, the floor is still open. Second round of debate for this piece. Do I see any debate for this piece? I see Senator.
Just a point of information. So the first round of debate against this motion. Oh, sorry, Senator Hughes on him. So the first round of debate against this motion has been. Yes. Okay.
Senator Brian Caucus, are we arguing about closing open session still?
Yes.
Or-
We are arguing for or against closing the open session. It's still the second round of debate for this motion. I see Senator Glover. State your motion.
I moved to adjourn immediately.
Point of personal privilege.
State your point.
Real fast, right? That is clever. If we adjourn, all of this will be taken at the very, like, all you the very beginning of the next meeting. So unless y'all want to do that, adjourn now, but.
The floor is still the second round of debate for this motion. Do I see any debate for this motion? Speaking none. Debate has become one-sided. You can sure that debate has become one-sided. We now vote on this motion. All those in favor of closing open sessions, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. It's opinion of the chair that the ayes have it. We will now move into a period of executive reports or committee reports. We will now begin with. I move to.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded is undebatable, unamendable, and require a majority vote. We will attempt to do this via. General consent. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye. All those opposed? Oh, I messed up. To adjourn the meeting now. Being not the meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, okay. Let's just do that early. Thank you.
Howdy, Chair Horgan.
Howdy.
Senator Vaughn. Senator Youngworthy. Sorry. Stay here.
The meeting's over.
What are we? That's my thoughts. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
Senator Owen.
Howdy.
Senator Segala.
Howdy.
Senator Roland. Senator Council. Senator Jackson. Howdy. Senator Royal.
Howdy.
Senator Attaway. Howdy. Senator Dealey. Senator Smith.
Howdy.
Senator Richards. Howdy. Senator Schmidt. Howdy. Senator Williams. Austin Williams. Senator Yost.
I'm here. Or howdy.
Senator Kessler.
Howdy.
Senator Hurd.
Howdy.
Senator Bronco. Howdy. Senator Lyons. Howdy. Senator Smith. Senator Wesley. Senator Williams. Senator Pugh.
Howdy.
Senator Hollingsworth. Howdy. Senator Long.
Howdy.
Senator Alvarez. Senator Burnside. Howdy. Senator Edgington. Senator Hughes. Howdy. Senator Hudson. Howdy. Senator Willis.
Howdy.
Senator Von Wilkerfeld.
Howdy.
Senator Adamant.
Howdy.
Senator Barber. Howdy. Senator Becker. Howdy. Senator Brown.
Howdy.
Senator Clark. Howdy. Senator Plainer. Howdy. Senator Flores. Howdy. Senator Garcia. Howdy. Senator Lothar. Howdy. Senator Glover. Howdy. Senator Hall. Senator Hedcock. Senator Hicks. Senator Honey. Senator Kaiser. Senator Long. Senator Murray. Senator Collins.
Howdy.
Senator Sanders.
Howdy.
Senator Wright.
Howdy.
Senator Hargrove. Senator Maynard. Senator Roberts. Senator Nate. Dan Williams. Senator
Howdy.
Senator Bradley.
Howdy.
Senator Jones. Senator Down. Senator Medvedev.
Howdy.
Senator Shuck.
Howdy.
Senator Wells.
Howdy.
Senator Wu.
Howdy.
Senator Jessic. Howdy. Senator Vogt. Senator Patel.
Howdy.
Senator Sanchez. Howdy. Senator Swan.
Howdy.
Stigl.
Howdy.
Senator Stipe. Senator Keats. Howdy. Senator Vander Heiden. Howdy. Senator Wilhite. Senator Wilkins. Howdy. With that, this meeting is adjourned. Okay.